at the HOD. We also have how has NVDA been performing here today, guys? 219.84. Yes, congratulations, Trav, man. Before we send it off, we're very generous here. You know what we are, Xerxes. We are kind with the time here. We continuously $12. Our boy bought this at $6, man. So there you go, 100% return. Way to have the diamond hands on that one there. They expire tomorrow. Congratulations, Trav, man. Jesse, Blicky Spears. We have Hangry Wife in the chat. Gorv, Los Polios, and everyone. We'll do a last-minute roll call. Donkey Trader, FJ. We mentioned Trav, man. Luis Suarez, Armenian muscle, tarp off in the profile picture. Crazy stuff over there. And then who else? A couple more. Sharif, Save Man Woman, and Side Quest, and Investor. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to Deshaun Strickland, Soulja Boy, the first one, and everyone. Katina Man got a fresh haircut. We're going to send it over to the boys here. And I hope everyone has a fantastic Thursday. It is Thursday,
Eric
right?
Jackson, tomorrow, 2:30 or 3, be here. Or be there, or be square?
Be
here, or
yeah.
something?
Be there or be square?
Be there or be square. All right, peace. Limit up, S dot.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, we were sitting here all day for that QNT. It came and it went.
New rule.
How was that?
Take them both.
Oh, yeah, the other
Take
one.
them
I was
both.
here for the other
what
one.
was it? Shoot.
Cocaine.
INEO. INIO. That's the easy way to remember it. Ooh, the iced coffee.
I got the iced coffee again.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna get myself a tea. At some point I will. But no, QNT. The good news is, hey, no crazy slippage, no abject, like look at the size of the gap, you get in and it rugs right away. Now there was plenty of liquidity to be able to at least like limit the amount that it went down instantly. But the frustrating thing is I just said INEO on the NASDAQ. The other IPO, that's Murphy's Law, straight up. That's what's gonna happen. They were both over a bill. Actually, INIO was the bigger one, prioritized quantum over, this one was data center energy. They were really both in solid spots. You could have taken them both because look, this one opened more than an hour before. It's not like, that was kind of like, I don't want to be distracted. But that was not a concern. But it is what it is. You live and you learn. So if you traded both of them, I can't see that you would have lost money if you just went long right away, if we're being real. But the bigger thing, and again, it's IPOs, fun times, it'll be even bigger next week. The bigger thing is what this market is doing this afternoon.
This market is
NASDAQ.
Crazy.
Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is get a poll up. Does NASDAQ turn green? Everyone's gonna vote yes, and then we'll move on. Marvell's recovery, all the way back and up 6%. Remember how bad NVIDIA looked this morning? Oh yeah, that's right. Not that bad anymore. 2.5% NVDA. Whoops, I'm not on the right daily chart. There we go. NVDA, good bounce back. Doesn't even get to the 50 period. So the dip buyers were here. It's always a good. The dip buyers were dipping and ripping.
You are right, ST. Whatever your name is there. Marvell is the one, the only. I mean, this name was down 7% today and had everyone crying. And now you're up 5%, $40 straight up on MRVL as, yeah, man, the Bears went into hibernation today. That is for sure, man. They were out early and then they went back to sleep. And now you're just seeing such a move back. And I sold some yesterday right here at 318. And was like, yeah, we did good at 318. Now we're out of the money on that sale. As it just continues to climb higher there, it's MRVL. And you already mentioned NVIDIA. ARM as well, back to 400 right now. 396, that's almost in a straight line. That's now up. I mean, this is up $30 as well from the lows, right? That's about almost 10% from the bottom there on ARM. But I'm still in the same trade. Oh, it didn't switch over yet.
It sometimes takes.
Oh, okay. So I'll.
It's still Sharif and Joe's.
Maybe if I bid out of IBIT right now,
I already took a fill. It didn't do anything.
Yeah, you got to switch that up a little bit there, and we'll put our names back on. But I'm still in this IBIT short. I've been trying to cover a little bit here. Now that we just bounced off VWAP, we'll cover a little bit more. But this is that one trade. You know, I'm going to be red on the day because of this QNT right there, and that was in and out. Just lost 50 cents. And you know, took some shares. So we'll see what winds up happening on this move moving forward. You know, the high is now like where it opened. So 68, some pressure on Continuum. That's what it is. I'm going to continuum down the road of desire here, waiting for next week's IPO as we wait
It's
for
easier to say.
SpaceX, we won't have any problems repeating that one, but hopefully we have better luck on the SpaceX IPO.
Well, you know what? If you make it difficult to say the name of the company, then I don't like you already.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what company where it's really easy to say the name? Orogenics, everybody.
Yeah, that's a good
Ticker OGEN on the NYSE American. The company has now activated its phase 2A clinical trial in Australia with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, which is an intranasal treatment that targets concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Orogenics has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, resolving liabilities, and restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution, with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. Remember, check them out, OGEN on the NYSE American. One more rebound name for you before we get into this. CrowdStrike is only down 4 points now. Look at the dip buyers dip and rip. And sometimes it's like this. I think we were talking about, I was sort of saying, hey, let's look for the 640 level to hold, right? Look for some prior support. People were taking profit. Well, the bottom was just the bottom right away. Like the pre-market low was the best price you ever got on these guys, and that was more or less it. What can you do? Sometimes the market sentiment this morning certainly felt like we were going to get some lower prices for dip buys, like Broadcom. Again, like the pre-market and 930 was the best price you were going to get, just like CrowdStrike. If you were remotely interested in that long buy the dip, you couldn't wait.
She's got the eggs going on over
Hey,
there.
Sharif always has the eggs going on. Saves them for the morning, get that extra protein.
I don't know if the camera's on Sharif now or not, but there it is.
Got to.
Joe's emailing his broker right there. Joe's like, no more PDT.
No, Joe's scrolling Instagram.
Yeah, Joe's looking at Tina Wilson Capital over there, trying to figure out what's going on. And yeah, we went long QNT and to our dismay and chagrin and all of that jazz. This is that trade, so finally it switched over now. Here we go. Nice move down on IBIT. So we traded Palantir earlier today. Whoops. Actually, we're up on it, so whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. But the stock goes whoopsie daisy as Palantir goes up and then right back down in. Yeah, that would have been a good one. Right there into sort of pre-market highs. We let this ride. We had 5% left. We averaged it back in down here, then lost it. Gave up a little bit of what we made there on PLTR, but that's a positive name for sure. IBIT's positive, we just showed you, and then we have negative on the NAS. Wow. That's so hilarious because today's trade, and we wind up losing on it. We don't lose that much, but we had 85.50 marked down here as a short area for the NASDAQ. I wasn't even sure it was going to get there, but man, did we ever get there. And now it's just on a straight line to the high side. If you're playing reversion trades, man, I mean, right now might be that time. I mean, we've just gone up in a straight line here. Look at NVIDIA's 5-minute chart. I mean, it is like stair-stepping higher and higher and higher as we go. So we're going to have to watch out for all of these names. And as I was saying, man, I mean, if you're looking at the RSI, many of these names, NVIDIA, this is why it's not the greatest indicator. Like you're well above the RSI here for the last hour or 2 hours, sorry, on NVIDIA with no point in even thinking about it pulling back yet. So you got to be careful about some of those things. Quick divergence play fine, but sitting in something for a while here as this market starts to scream to the high side. Another good day to possibly check your accounts, man. I mean, Robinhood on the PDT rule today goes to 87 and change, up 5%. So we say, awesome. We did have a lot of people, quite frankly, spamming the chat this morning, telling us about get involved with Robinhood. And you would have been right on that one for sure. It was kind of tricky early as it went up and down, but then since then, it's just kind of been cruising. We could check what my friend Anthony Noto is up to today with SoFi. That's at $17. I don't know if Vlad, what kind of his stake is anymore in Robinhood, but we know Anthony Noto is often tweeting out some of his positions coming through there. I didn't know until just now that we're going to have Eric Jackson on tomorrow. So hopefully that's confirmed and we'll be able to bang.
Get a little bit
tomorrow, is it in the afternoon? Do we know what time? Perfect. All right, 2:30 to 3. We're talking to my guy, Eric Jackson. I'm going to ask him about his friend Drake, see what's going on over there, see why didn't he get him involved in Open Door. And yesterday...
Not just Open Door, right?
Yeah, it was HUD 8.
HUD 8 as
he
well.
Had a big call on HUD 8. I got to do some research tonight on this guy so we can figure it out. But Eric Jackson from Open Door fame, HUD 8, and EWJ Capital?
This sounds right.
Maybe that's right. We'll figure that out tomorrow as we have him coming on very, very soon.
And speaking of HUD,
look at HUD 8.
Way too much.
I nailed that.
And something we'll talk about. So much focus on Open, but hey, this is where it's been at. That's the one that we're talking about here. JKL, you got the golf cart. We had, first of all, the weather weather's so nice, and we had to sit here waiting for that IPO. I'm on the wrong page. Where's the super chat thing? Here we are. The weather's so nice outside. Didn't get to go for the walk and all that stuff. So I'm happy that you got it in there on the golf course. You're still short the cues. I mean, the market's still down. So obviously, if you're short from like yesterday, some of those highs, it could still be in the money. But enjoy the course. Play 9, play 18, do what you do. Enjoy yourself. Just be careful. We got this bull market happening, and look to the point. Look at the cues ramping into the highs yesterday. And look at that. It looks like the start of something. Right at the open, it fails the high, lower highs, close on the low, gap down. To me, it's hard not to have come in thinking short when you see something like that. That's sort of how it is. Okay, there's a little something that I see right now, and it is going to be Rigetti. So I did mention that, you guys know Quantinium. Did I just say it wrong? Whatever. That gives a little bit of a boost to some of the quantum space. Well, there we go. Bit of a topping tail candle here on Rigetti, kind of confirmation. So I said I would play this one after, if I see like rejection, trend break, topping tail at the highs, after this, after the IPO was open is the words I'm trying to get out, then I would go for the short. So it just did this little topping tail candle here on our GTI. So jumping into it. For the first one, I played past the hot potato at VWAP on IBIT, as in got out at VWAP, went to BMNR, shorted BMNR through VWAP, got trailed out, and then went back to IBIT and shorted it when it got to the volume weighted average price, because VWAP is a bit of a thing. And what else we got going on? Oleo, that's not Oleo. It's Ollie Oxen. I almost got this wrong. It's not Oleo, it's Ollie Oxen Free. Oh, that takes me back. If you know, you know, and if you don't know, then you didn't play hide and go back in the day. Straight up, we used to play hide and go on my street. Parents had a rule until I got a certain age. The parents had a rule about, like where you could and couldn't go.
Yeah, I think once the lights go off.
But there was also we're in a cul-de-sac, and then you know where Shoppers was, and so we lived in a cul-de-sac like Shoppers and McMurtry. And
right near Shoppers World is a mall.
I know, but the one street that Shoppers World was on, you couldn't cross that street.
Right.
And there was like an apartment building where you could go up their driveway and then had this weird vantage point over the lip and see all of our cul-de-sac.
Okay.
We had a rule, but we weren't allowed to play there. So my flex when it was hide and go is I would just go where I'm not allowed to go, just stand there watching, and then when I saw them on the other side of the street, I could make my way back, pretend like I was hiding somewhere else. And to this day, my brother couldn't figure out jack because I was literally breaking the rules. I was cheating. Now Len would never, Len. My brother, he's the most honest person. Even when you're kids and you do some stupid stuff like cheating at hide and go seek. Him, no, never. But I got him every time with that life. Nah, he ain't about that.
Okay, yeah.
He's too pure. He's pure, man.
What's up to everybody in the chat? Bovins here. Everybody's here. Chris Loon. You guys are talking about Ferraris? Okay, I know my Ferrari. We saw that Faraday Future car.
What did you think?
No, I don't like that car. I thought it looked crazy.
It looked way better from farther out.
Well, I mean,
look, we got close.
If someone's going to give it to me, I'm fine with it. But, as far as paying $300 for that,
nope.
It's a hard pass on that one. The Faraday Future car, we wait for that Rivian R2, and we can check out what Rivian is doing right now. Whoa, 1829, okay. Positive on the day now, Rivian, so that's nice to see.
Really?
As, up about 0.8%. Tesla had that bounce off that 420 marker. It's there again right now. It's basically glued to this, and this was the bounce off that we're talking about early there at 10 o'clock, boom, to that upside. There we go for, Tam said Rivian again, for Tesla. Does not hold it. As we left you guys at around 11 o'clock, didn't hold that. Came back in, held 417, but that seems to be a tough one there. I kind of want to I want to go short on a few things here, but the market just continues to get higher. You mentioned that if we did put a poll up, it would be Nasdaq goes green, and I think that right now we mentioned potentially playing the turnaround story here.
Go or close? What do you want?
Close. We just say people want to vote for close.
Yeah.
Where will the Nasdaq close? Red or green? Okay, we're getting a little pullback. We've had similar pullbacks there every single time. Let's forget about 11 o'clock. We just showed you what happened with Tesla there. But since the NVDA of the world has been going to the upside now we got that quantum going to the upside there. Where's Adara, by the way? Is Adara gone? Oh, she's over there. Continuum. I was gonna say she was correcting me all day. So continuum. So as that sort of taking a little bit of air out of the market here, let's just wait to see what happens. I was really surprised as everybody was waiting for that, and I don't really think that that's done too much volume. 16 million shares. Most of that was done right there, right off the open. It looks like we did about 6 million shares or so off the open there. But it's NVIDIA just taking us to the high side now, and I do want to short it at some point. It's just when and where. Maybe finally a break maybe of the 50-period moving average. We've just been bouncing off of it this whole time. I think it's a little too far too fast on nothing, but hey, this story keeps on going there. Drones spiked, RCAT and ONDS. Didn't ONDS yesterday, hey, what's up, Hercules, thank you so much. They dropped a offering of some sort yesterday, at least a mention of a file for an offering
I think.
Yesterday, ONDS. And yeah, so that's $13 down to $11.50, and there it is back up to the upside. So yeah.
I have registered 2.1 million shares of common stock.
All right, so ONDS, Ondas Inc. Upside. They are so that's drones. We had AVAV as well. Was another.
It's back
play.
over too.
Yeah, on drones. Oh, was that under it for a while?
Yeah, it pulled back and.
it did go to 190. Yeah. Oh man, I had a bid at 195.
Everything pulled back this morning.
I missed that. Oh, this morning. Yeah. Even yesterday was.
Yeah, yesterday too. Yeah, yesterday as well.
Yeah, yesterday closed at 190, so that was a good close there for them. But back up today over 200. So yeah, you can see some of these drone plays seem to be hot once again here. I like that play, and I should have had it. I normally keep my bids. I had a bid at 195, so it would have been
never cancel.
Would have not been good. But
I find I never in the long term of the swing, I never put a bid in that's just for the day by rule anymore. It's like I always make sure I leave it. It's always like
I
good
try to put it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I usually try to put it for a month. It's not that I'll leave anything out there for a month, but it's just more so, hey, if I'm trying to get this, just make sure I get it. Because I used to do that, be really, really lazy. It defaults to a day. I think I'm getting the fill that day. And then you do something, you forget about it, and it's silly. But I got the poll up here, so we're going to do this. Let's get this started. So the key is the poll is active. And if you don't know what a poll is, it's just where you vote on something. And the way you vote is you actually have to be in the chat. We have a fantastic community. Jump in, throw some messages at us, do what you got to do. But all you have to do now is type 1 if you think the NASDAQ closes red. 2 if you think the NASDAQ closes green. Imagine sitting in shorts and the thing about it is if you're the kind of you think the market's going to the upside, but you're going to sit there and only voting with your trades to the red when you're just madly typing green. Only an idiot would do that. So you don't be that person. Make sure it's actually what you think. No, what the market does and what individual trades do are completely different things. Bitcoin is trash and crypto's been bad, so it can go down. Or a mean reversion trade can do what.
Oh, Bitcoin's down to 64,000 right now.
Look, it's getting to 50. Well, it's getting to 50. Randy's like, it's trash, whatever. No, that's not what I really mean. I just mean it's in a bear market that looks like it's headed down into here somewhere, the 50 to 51 level. I think most of our viewers right now, if I just want to throw it back up.
Tell us your opinion on Bitcoin.
For now. But ever since it broke trend here, I said, when it happened, I'm bearish till at least 50. And I've been sitting every single time it bounces, I'm still bearish until it gets to 50. And it was looking pretty precarious for a while when it was up in the 80s. Because I was like, oh shoot, was 60 the temporary bottom? But it still feels pretty weak. Maybe you bounce off to 60, but then you make a lower high and then we end up at the 50 anyway. So that is what it is. I think next year is gonna be a much better year than this year in my opinion. So yeah, get your votes in. Remember, it's just 1 for red, 2 for green. From now on, it's whichever, if we are red right now, then that's gonna be 1. Because I don't want to bias it by always putting green first I feel like sometimes
that makes sense.
I think it skews things. It was just like when we do the polls for like which earnings name, and then you always put the chalk one first. Like we'll put Broadcom first when it's the earnings names, or we'll put in.
Yeah, and you you're
And then everyone just
puts people.
and then everyone just types one anyway. So.
Oh boy, Google right here at the high of the day and not stopping. Like Google's been an absolute monster. This is Eli Lilly right now up 4.5, so we like Eli Lilly a lot. Obviously, I've talked about Eli Lilly lots, but yeah, wow, man, there's Google just nonstop again. That would have been great to sit there. I didn't even see that one at 208. We should have 210 right there at 370. That was a good little pullback right into. We hadn't seen the 200 period. Like that's the kind of stuff we're looking for. Any kind of pullbacks into the 200 period moving average right now to solidify trend. That's kind of, for me, the coup de grace. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something like that. And I'm honestly, I think the risk right now is probably to the long. Like I just, we've topped out. It's been pretty good. Just had NVIDIA bounce off there. I'm wondering about a short, but again, like RSI is still pretty extended, obviously on NVIDIA, not going anywhere to the downside right now. But yeah, chip names have been super hot once again here today. And if anything, Micron might be somewhere near a short. You can see only because here's the 5-minute chart. This is your 200 period moving average. Still a ways away, but at least we're still underneath that right now, as opposed to some of the other names that we're seeing. NVIDIA climbed through that at 217. That would have been a go spot. There's your 200 period, again, the green. And there's the blast through, so that would have been nice. So right now you're trying to figure out, where may we be going here on a name like NVIDIA? And it's maybe trading against this level, that's 222. So you still have a ways to go if you're gonna be wrong on that. And do you really wanna sit in this for, $150 maybe there at the end of the day? But then you're kind of like fighting trend. And we said we don't really wanna fight too much trend here into the end of the day. So let us know if there's sort of anything else that's going on here. Like, what about Salesforce? They had their earnings last week. We saw some software get up today. Not really. I mean, it's nicely off the lows, I would assume, here for sales. No, not even. Actually, software, yeah, that's right. Software this morning was hot, and we were wondering why. And then Palantir came crashing back. So is that the same fate here for Softy? Because, okay, so yes. So Softy trying to show some life now, but this might be, see, like, if you want to go short, what about this? Right, that's not a horrible idea there for Microsoft on the short end of the stick here. And then we had, a lot of today might have something to do with Broadcom, AVGO, a nice back end move here over the last hour or so. But there it goes, Broadcom all the way 426. Wow, that was nice. But look at this now, man. Nice little drop of $10 here on Broadcom coming right back in again. Maybe NVIDIA will lose the bid, man. I mean, some of these other names are down. Maybe it is NVIDIA time, but should we short NVIDIA, or what should we do? Should we go over Intel and look for that kind of a short maybe right now as well? That's kind of underneath a few things. Or are we silly going short? You guys tell me in the chat what you want to do right now. We can look at that Quantinuum again at some point. Maybe we can look at that. But Intel downside right now. And just trying to find out a trade where we can maybe get back to the downside here.
Well, a couple of interesting suggestions.
What's oil doing?
Well, oil's not doing much of anything. Not any. Like it is very, very quiet, relatively speaking, in US. So down 4 points, but very, very quiet. In terms of volume, you've basically sat in the same range the entirety of the day. I see a couple of names from TikTok in here. Only one of them, but one of them. I think when we look at these, like. When we talk about like the RKLB, like these leverage ETFs, that's what I'm choking my way through. And thank you for bringing this up from our TikTok viewers. So RCAT has been in play. Now, just because it's too levered, they're great trading vehicles, but some of them are not the most liquid out there. Like if you look at this one, it's like 2x daily bull. It's done 700,000 shares on it, and obviously the uptrend's been pretty good. And like Redcat is having a very good day, but like Redcat's done like 15 million shares. You know what I mean? So like that 2x bull, great, but it's not all that liquid. So there's examples where I think sometimes you'll be looking at a better opportunity, or at least an equal opportunity between like a leverage ETF and the underlying. Like sometimes like SLV and ZSL, people would go back and forth. You trade either one of those bad boys. I think in this particular case, like RCAT's just fine on its own here to be able to play, and a good day for Red Cat as well. And a recent breakout here as industrials have been breaking out this afternoon. I think that was sort of what happened in here, just in general. So good luck. I mean, the daily solid bull flag in here for the daily on Red Cat, but yeah, I think there's a place for those leveraged ETFs. You're trying to get a little bit more out of the move when it goes, but if you end up in something that's less liquid, it can be a bit of trouble. And as much as I said that for ZSL and silver, there was a moment where those disconnected in an afternoon one day. Like I remember, like SLV, there was like a 5% drop or something in SLV or something rather small, and ZSL went like 20. It was completely insane. Like basically, there were too many people long, and when they liquidated, it was ridiculous. It was the same time as it was like afternoon settlements, and it was just a perfect storm. And there was a 3 or 4x drop, and they just went out of pair. It was pure arbitrage trade, unless you were caught in it. If you were caught in it, then you probably just got smoked. But if you weren't, you just watched it happen. There was a pure arbitrage trade in ZSL. That was pretty clean for about 15 or 20%. But let us know what else you guys are watching in here. The poll right now sits at very decidedly green. 77% of the viewers, it's only 140 votes. Get those votes up. We're that bullish, huh? Really? Or all the bears shy, which is fine. When the market is a V shape like this, I think it's okay to the bears can be shy, but be real. Be real about it. Let us know. We're into some resistance from yesterday. It's been impressive, but how do we really feel? How do we really feel about it? Let us know. And we got a super chat up here from Rob, if we can throw that one up there, Assassino.
Yeah, the Redwire recently.
Do we have it?
Yeah.
Or was that the same one?
I think it was it. They were getting
No,
one. Redwire.
No, it's Redwire, Rocket Lab, or Marvell.
They've got their robotic arm, lunar robotic arm that they've just tested. That was a success. So they have some good news behind it, Redwire, and of course, as we wait for the SpaceX IPO here, now up 18%. It's gaining momentum alongside of that, and we see a nice little move back right now on Rocket Lab and Redwire. And then you asked about Marvell. I mean, we could talk about Marvell for sure. But I would. This is the thing. If you want some levels, I mean, I really think this VWAP is good. Like we've fallen back into there. Every time we fell back into VWAP there, we fell back there. We basically, I don't know where it was at that point, but there it is there, and there it is again, and now you're trying to break higher. So yeah, this is probably a good break long, 22, 21. So you're getting close to maybe executing something there, and then using like the 2180, 2185 or so area there as an out. I actually don't mind this trade breaking long right here on RDW. So, Rob, I mean, that's a good one. Bouncing off here, the 200 to 200, solidifying the trend, like, okay, we're going up. Pink line, 50 period, 25 period. Here we go, looking to take out those highs. So, yeah, if the NASDAQ keeps running, there's more to Redwire, I think. And you're, 5 days away now from SpaceX. And there's a bounce back for Rocket Lab. I mean, we were talking about sort of the death of the Rocket Labs and all that. And it's not the death of it, it's just some steam coming out, but right back in today. And also, not a bad look right here for that name either, right? As you get, hold on a second, I was debating taking Intel short, actually. But these ones might actually be a little bit better than that. Even Rocket Lab breaking through that high, but RDW, a little bit lesser of a price, should be able to go, if it does break that. I think I'm going to put in a trade on this, man. I mean, if we could break that level right now, it's not horrible, but how much room does it really have to run, right? That's 2270 on the high end of this. I'm actually thinking like this NASDAQ is giving me some kind of feels here for a maybe short coming in right now. I don't know. Those are those levels. And then honestly, man, Marvell has had a monster run back, but now it's starting to come back a little bit. Hey, maybe we're into something there, thinking about some of these shorts now coming through. So yeah, maybe we can look at the short instead of the long. But that Redwire 2130 is where VWAP is.
Couple spikes here.
Kind of like that one there. So yeah, I think you're on three good names. But for buying Marvell, you want to wait down here, man, 310 or so. You got to get into the 200 period. It's moving too much.
So this is weird. Usually when we spike upside, it's not because oil's going up, but there was remember 230 oil futures settlement,
yeah,
right?
I have
So
NVDA.
just keep that in mind. That just broke the highs, but it was just in a couple of things. And I'll get to, there was a comment about Tesla. I'll get to that in a second. Because I do like when you can find something with a relatively tight stop if you can, but Tesla has a bit of room. So Rigetti went for the reload, but once it broke this lower high, I jumped out. I do like that USO is going up for the shorts, so I might jump right back into this one and give it to the same wick. The other thing is if I'm shorting IBIT at VWAP and it breaks, we don't care about Blue Ocean because actually probably doesn't work in the afternoon. But yeah, once that breaks out above VWAP, I'm out. I wait for it to get back into some of those highs. But yeah, USO with a bit of a move here. Let's just see how it reacts. Again, around settlements, I usually want to see how it reacts for the next couple of minutes and not jump into anything, because sometimes you just get a volume spike because of that in general. But yeah, strong move up. Usually my first thought would be, if oil's going up, hey, let's find a fade somewhere. But it doesn't seem to be stopping. Whoops. Come on, hit enter 3 times. Doesn't seem to be stopping any of these moves. Like I look over at NVDA. So I'm gonna look to either re-enter IBIT at the top, maybe that Rigetti again, or go back to the BMNR well because it's at a double top. I might just go to the double top here. It's all about the setup, really.
Yeah, I just took I took a little bit of a trade here on the TQQ, so we'll hit the siren there. And I was just talking about maybe going short. So let's ring a little bit of register here at 06, and then again at 05 if we're able to. Now, as there it is. Okay, good one, man. We'll see if it wants to. Okay. Slow down, my guy. Don't even have my orders out yet. That sounds a lot louder than normal. But here we go. Downside for the. Okay, go. We just shorted it here. So there's the break of yes. Let's go, man. Oh, my God. I had a trade over here. There it goes, man. Breaking that 25 period moving average and just sort of getting a little exhausted there. Here's the RSI breaking a little lower now through 64, 65. We're going to see if it wants to start to rock just a bit to the high side there. There goes a TQQ. Potentially a little overdone on your. I could put RSI maybe on here if you want, but I'm not convinced that's exactly what I want to use. So there we go. It's the short of the NASDAQ now. And just trying to cover, actually, to be honest with you, I already covered 25%. I want to put another bid right here at 02, see if we get a little more coverage on that one. And yeah, here we go again, man. It should be a good one. We're going to hold on to this short a little bit and see if the market wants to give up just a little bit. But then I looked over and I said, well, I was thinking, okay, there we go. We just got that fill. That's really good. Okay, good. Happy with that. Let's just see about ooh. All right, I was gonna say I was happy I didn't short NVIDIA, but it just went down $1 right there on that move as well. So NVIDIA looks like that would have been where the money was, but I'm really happy being able to take this trade on the TQs right now. So that's bouncing. Look at that. I mean, that's a good indicator right there, right off the 50-period moving average on your 1 minute chart. There's NVIDIA. The last time we tested that, that would have got you long at 218. That's a decent area here. Seeing that it's trying to bounce off, let's just see what winds up happening there. Apple's going to be a big key to the NASDAQ as well. That's kind of flattish in the afternoon, but a nice battle back today for Apple. And then, of course, oh, yeah, let's go. Let's see how low we can get on this, man. I mean, we're already down. This isn't the red stock for me on the day. We already talked about QNT. I'm red on that one. But here we go. Maybe we get a little bit of a pullback. Ideally, just looking for areas now. So now that I'm out of a third already, just trying to scalp out here. If we can get back into this area, I think that would be the next spot. So let's put a bid there, and let's just wait for it, right? I mean, we have all afternoon. We'll go 85, 85. We'll see if we can get something and see if we can get out of about 20% there. And then the next levels, hey, man, maybe even into 85, 60, 85, 40 as we continue to look lower there. So, okay, here we go, man. We definitely like what we're seeing now on the board. And, yeah. So far, so good here as the market's now pulling back in for me. So IBIT, we took out a little bit there. We have very little left on the IBIT. But right now we're watching the Qs and seeing if the NASDAQ wants to come down in to some of our prices.
Yeah, lots of things are coming down. Intel's literally going red and breaking trend. It's breaking an all-day trend basically in this candle. I see still some chatter about USO. So yeah, we see it, guys. And obviously, when whenever you have oil going up, if this holds and breaks out higher, usually that's a little bit of weakness that comes into the market. That makes some sense to me. But if this ends up being complete fugazi and was just a 230 thing, and we're back under VWAP, then I don't know how much I'm going to like the short. If this was nothing and we're just retracing the range and then coming right back in, I want continuation on USO. Like that would be a better way for the shorts to be able to play out. Now let's go to the desk. Dara has news for us.
I don't have any news. I wish I did. I'm looking. If that changes, I'll keep you guys posted. What I did want to let you guys know, though, is we do have a new infographic here, and it's our implied moves for tonight after the bell. Here it is, guys. This was just posted on XTTV Research. The largest is Sean's friend, IoT, otherwise referred to as OVO, with that owl logo. They reported 410, 16.5% expected move. Smallest expected move by far is Lululemon with a 9.2% expected move. Then you've got, again, everything but Lululemon here in the double digit expected move, pretty significantly so as well. You can find this infographic on X at TTV Research. I'll see you guys in the wall in a little bit as well with some more Lululemon's earnings prep. Back to you.
I don't know what the deal with their logo is. Yeah, I think it's cool, man. I like owls. Owls was like one of my grandmother's favorite animal was like an owl. So I don't know, really strange there. Cool. But I guess. And then when I was part of Scouts Canada, and I was a leader in Scouts Canada, I was, and I can't remember the name, but I was an owl. Whatever the. And this
I should know these. I used to know these.
That's probably 10 years ago. I was whatever the owl was. All the leaders had different names and whatever. So, yeah. Who called on my phone? You know, you get the who right there with an owl. But yeah, so that was that. All right, I covered a little bit more IBIT there at 10s. I just want to get out of it, man. I mean, I'm riding or dying right now with the NASDAQ short, and we'll just wait to see if it does pull back up. And I would think that there's a good chance of that exactly happening. So let's wait to see if it does come through here on the NASDAQ, little short call here for me on the TQQ. So we'll put some orders out. I was actually debating, I mean, I said, hey, we wait for 80. I just put a bid now at 92. We'll see. I mean, it just bounced off there a couple times. Actually bounced off 93s, maybe get a little bit higher, but I don't want to, you know, get too specific on what we're doing. You asked me about RDW last in the chat, and you know, I was saying that that's, you know, potential break area. It hasn't done it yet, so that could be a good one. Redwire, if that does wind up breaking there. And then Marvell back to the downside as well. But yeah, IoT, I mean, I really like IoT, Internet of Things. I think their order book's going to be quite large, and we talked about AI and how that's going to affect this business. Wow, they went to $38 today. Oh my, IoT has just really gone off over the last couple of days. So, you know, with report tonight, we are a little worried about it, you know. I mean, the way that we saw Broadcom base out, bump higher, then tank itself into today. So, you know, we'll see. I don't think Broadcom was much of a surprise when you think about the sector because, you know, we saw NVIDIA put up a good number, which we talked about, and then that came back down right after that. And so Broadcom, of course, a little different than NVIDIA, as they did warn against some of that, what was it, 15? They had 16 billion target is what they gave, and the street wanted 18 billion moving forward on some of the equipment. So that's not a great move there. But yeah, Broadcom and then Lululemon tonight. Sharif, you know, noticed that this was that shirt. But here goes Lululemon 125. These guys, like all day, man, just selling off. And this should be an interesting play for anybody looking at Lulu here tonight because, hey, man, I think it could be a kitchen sink quarter where maybe it washes down into this even lower, even to, you know, 118, 120, and then we start seeing some bids come in at the end of it all.
That's what they said about Nike last Q. And Nike's held the low.
Oh, I was on the wrong stock.
Nike's been holding 42. I think there's a sympathy play. If Lulu gets a bounce, don't forget some sympathy over on, I still have my 1 second chart up for the IPO. Yeah, that was really useful.
Ooh, IPO, you go to hell.
Well, the funny thing about it is
too aggressive.
It helps to execute when it's in the money, because I kind of use like a 3 second or a 5 second chart on the IPOs just to get an idea of where to take profit at when it goes really quickly. And then now, like Nike on the daily, 42, 42, 42, 42. So if Lulu drags them down, Nike could catch a bounce. I don't want Nike to go down, simply making that point that it could be a nice little sympathy play if it gets downside just because Lulu has a bit of a miss.
So I just want to review this trade. I was in and out of this in under 3 seconds. So this QNT today, it opened up and I was long at 68. So I said, okay, if it breaks 68, get me out. And it immediately broke 68. Like, forget about the 68.30. That doesn't matter. And then it was just like, see ya, all the way to the downside, 66. Where is Sia? All the way to the downside right there, coming into $66. So that was that move there. This took less than 3 seconds, and your boy was in and out of QNT today as a disaster trade was avoided, basically, because, you know, first of all, if I don't make that move, look, I was sitting here, Neil was like, did that actually happen? I did see it break back above and start to go, because I remember the boys were like, here we go, here we go, here we go, or whatever. And then it just, after that, and that's what I was saying to Neil, it was like such a disaster, some of these candles, like you almost, and I wasn't here for Cerebrus, but you know, I know it was even nastier than that, but like that's pretty bad, you know. And if you're gonna go long on the IPOs straight off the jump, there's no winning when this happens. You know, and the high has been basically its birthday. Like, you know, the minute it was born right there. Oh, by the way, what's up, Ozan? There's the trade. So, you know, we put on the TQs. I like the short. We talked a little bit about that. And look, man, the TQs against that level, I'll do that all day, all you know, every day. So far, so good here on the T-triple-Qs. Let's go over to Adara at the big screen.
In today's installment of To the Chart Window, To the Wall, we're going to take a look at Lululemon on this wall, because Lulu does report earnings after the bell, as has been discussed ad nauseum. But what I really want to look at, which I think is interesting, and you can follow along with me on X at TTV Research, is the performance here in like the US and Canada, North America, versus what we're seeing internationally. So if you look here, US down 6% last quarter, America's sales here down 4%. Canada is basically flat, only up 1%. But then you go over to China here, up 24% year over year for the quarter. The rest of world segment up 10%. Total international performance here up 17%. So that's just for revenue. If you look at comp sales, once again, you see weakness in North America and aggressive strength everywhere else. China mainland comp sales up 30%. Rest of world up 9%. Total international up 20%. So any growth we have in comp sales and net revenue, at least last quarter, was really buoyed by the strength that we had internationally and specifically in China. Let's see if this continues to start off the new year, Q1 2026. It's worth noting we have not had a CEO at Lulu in a non-interim capacity since January of this year. We don't get Heidi O'Neill until September either. So we're going to have a couple more less quarters. Let's see how this sorts out for Lululemon. And that is today's segment of To the Chart Window, To the Wall. I'll see you guys tomorrow at this wall. I already know what we have planned. It's going to be a doozy ahead of WWDC 2026.
What?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Okay.
There, from the window to the wall there, and back to the desk, and back to the desk. So, yeah, we're going to be ears to the ground.
Always.
You mentioned, yeah, so we'll watch out for Lululemon. I mean, is there even a short float on that thing? I mean, I feel like there should be.
I'm just gonna make up a number. I'm gonna say 3.7.
I'm gonna say 8.9. LULU right here. Oh, we'll split the difference. 5.81 right now. So that is a decent amount of short float for a mega cap.
Okay,
well, mega cap.
I'm just throwing it out there. We were almost exactly, if you take the average of our guesses,
that's what I'm saying.
Almost exactly.
The difference right there
Split
on
a TJ. We have TJ Jets fan or
TJX.
Okay,
oh, am I supposed to...
TX Jets fan. Look, you have to understand that I'm going to get that one wrong because once I hear Jets fan,
you tune out.
It's like it just gives me gives me some issues because, you know, I'm a Bills fan. So yeah, STI is resilient off of VWAP. It is trying to go relative to what it was doing most of the day. It's not moving much, but you try to remember that it's 300 bajillion percent, 300% to the upside. Like, this is still a 10% move off of VWAP. That's like $19 into 21, 22. So yeah, it's absolutely going, no questions asked. And sometimes you have to understand that when you have these parabolic movers, they'll go gapping and all that stuff, and that level of volatility doesn't exist all day long. It'll calm down. Sometimes you'll see a second salvo, hopefully to the upside if you're long, in the afternoon, which is possible, but you have like an hour left in here. So you always have to try to temper your expectations with these because most of the time, the best moves happen pre-market, maybe you catch like a breakout middle of the day, but that last hour, if it's not already going on volume, it can be a little bit tricky. I know we had Taylor in the chat was also on this one as well. Ray, thoughts on Gemini bottoming out? What about Ray?
I don't know, man.
Why is Joe? I just say the name of somebody in the chat, and it's like jokes. Has Gemini bottomed out? The problem with these, I'm telling you, the questions we always get for like, is X bottoming out? Is Y bottoming out? The best you can look for is accumulation, I suppose. But the accumulation bounce on this kind of happened in through 7. Like it did it here, like double bottom accumulation, and then you got a run that gave you 50%. It's almost like it's trying to accumulate again here. So like just take a lesson from this. I think when you're trying to bottom pick, I like it when it can regain the major moving average and break out from there personally, because I like the 50 period, maybe, I like the just 50 period moving average, or you could be at some crazy historical level. In this case, because all it's ever done since its birth is go down, it's not at some big historic level until it gets to its all-time low right around $4. So I like the accumulation. It's just it already did a move off of that once, and it'll probably be a little bit better when crypto doesn't, I said stink, but isn't as bearish. There's a nicer way of saying it, because Randy gave me a funny look when I said it stunk. It does stink, the chart stinks. When it's less bearish, I think things will look a little bit better, for sure. It is what it is. And we have the giggles today. I know for someone's like, you guys all have the giggles. I mean,
this is how I'm like every day.
In the IPO days.
I think maybe Joe does.
Especially if you're sitting around for hours at a time waiting for an IPO to open. And SpaceX is going to be worse, because SpaceX won't get up for a 30-minute meeting. Like 11 o'clock we'll be off the morning show, and I'm just going to be still sitting here. I'll go to the bathroom for like 2 minutes and sit here, eat the lunch here, just waiting, because you don't want to miss the opening print. And it's probably not coming to 1:30, but on the off chance it's early, you just sit there waiting, and it's like pent up energy. You should go for a walk in the middle of the day, enjoy the sun. None of that happens on an IPO day, because win, lose, or draw, and QNT was a loss. Win, lose, or draw, maybe it would have been the other IPO. Right? Like you take the L because you understand that it could have done this. If you come to my chart for a second. Like instead of taking that insta hit, you could just have been immediately in the money, and it just trends up and probably holding at least something till INEO breaks that trend. So it's all in the game, and you just don't want to miss that big liquidity event. It's like not being around at the open or the close. At least you know when that's going to be. Yeah, those that can't figure out how to make a set time for these to open up. If there's 3 IPOs in the day, give a 30-minute window for one, take a break, give a 30-minute window for the other, and just simply tell everybody, if you don't have your orders in on SpaceX, I'm going to make up a time. If you don't have your orders in by 12:30, that's your problem. We're opening it up in between 12:30 and 1. Would it be that hard to do? I don't think so. But for whatever reason, that's just not how it works at the market. So we sit around all day long as traders waiting for it. It's so ridiculous, really, when you think about it.
All right, so yeah, shout out here. We got a question in the chat from CH Handler. I'm going to try to find that right now. You talked about the new deal. Let's see if I can, there it is right here. I'll send it. It was talking about Palantir. And, oh, by the way, I started covering some more of these Qs. Like I don't think we'll average back in. We'll just see where it goes from here. We only have about a third left right now of the TQQs. So we're going to wait for that one. But you had mentioned there about Palantir, and yeah, starting to get some of their AI partnerships. They're being led by AIP, which is their platform already. That is like their big flywheel. That's the one that's sort of capturing all the business and coming through. So any kind of a deal with Google for Palantir, I mean, obviously just solidifies sort of their positioning in the space. And, with more contracts, oh man, that can rate into the 200 period last couple of days ago. Oh man, that's too bad. That's a good little level there for Palantir. But yeah, so just talking about that, coming into play here, I do like Palantir. I think it's a good stock, but software names just keep getting beat up. So any kind of deal with Google is great, because most of their business, as we all know, is contracted from the U.S. government or various governments around the world. So we got to watch out for Palantir potentially coming back to the downside until software is once again loved at some point. Palantir just a little caught right now in the middle, and it's not like an overly aggressive looking stock at this point. So I think you can kind of trade it not the way we were here when it had tons of upside. It's a lot of people know about this name. And again, the worry is there's Anthropic just breathing down its neck, and there's a few other names, Claude, obviously that is Claude, you know, trying to take some of their business away. So I think it was either Michael Burry or somebody came out and said, hey, like Palantir is, but oh yeah, he shorted Palantir, that's right. So he was talking about Palantir maybe being in trouble for that exact reason. So yeah, I think we got to be very, very careful what we're doing. The only thing is, their last quarter, and I just looked this up, they raised their guidance, right? And their margins improved. So regardless of what's happening, they have an improved margin space, which is great. That's what we look for in stocks, right? I mean, not only do you have to meet your valuation currently, but if margins keep getting bigger and better, which they're shrinking, many businesses have shrinking margins, even NVIDIA has shrinking margins, right? So once you start to increase those margins, that's where it starts to ramp up and people have to start changing the multiples they have. So I think Palantir can get reweighted at some point, but for right now, everyone's talking about the damage that AI is going to do to various names, and Palantir is, you know, not shying away from that. But yeah, they did have a very, very. Oh, heard something about Anthropic. Okay, about Mythos there again. So here we go. They just something about Mythos and cyber attacks. So we've already seen, boom, CrowdStrike. They're saying Mythos what? Mythos is a myth. But there it is to the upside, 720 right now for CrowdStrike, saying, hold my beer, what bad report? We're going to be up $50 from the low there. So many names battling back today.
And, well, I'm telling everyone in the chat, I'll let you guys know as well. We got our good friend Steve Talman about to join us. So make sure you get some questions in. Steve can cover, he covers basically everything. I know we'll probably have a little bit of a discussion. I'm sure IPOs will come up at some point, but you know him, we love him, good friend of the show, Mr. Steve Talman. Hey, what's the cap this time? No, there's no Yankee hat, so I'm already happy. So what you got? What are you wearing there?
This was grabbed out of my closet at last minute because I might have been wearing a hat you guys wouldn't have liked earlier. This is a Carhartt hat, nothing fancy. How's it going, guys?
It's going good. So were you going to wear the Yankee hat again?
I was thinking about wearing the Yankee hat. I changed my mind. It crossed my mind.
Appreciate you, though. Okay, so first of all, how have things been? And did you wait around all day for the IPOs today?
You know, no, I did not. I was just sticking to my lane, doing my own thing, trading large caps as always, trading SPY as usual. So for me, it was a nice dip buy day. We got that a 9-day or 10-day EMA on SPY. So we took advantage, you know, that's just a nice little dip buy. So I made a little bit of a purchase there on a few things. Besides that, pretty quiet for me. Just kind of testing out a few indicators for next week and looking forward to that. How about you guys?
No, he hasn't.
Okay,
he hasn't always had the cat.
Yeah, I was just actually trying to like, wait a minute. Have you always had a cat with you on here?
Always slightly off camera, usually on the other side, but I figured she deserved her screen time too.
Of course.
Cleo.
Name?
Cleo the cat.
Cleo.
Oh, it's so super cute there. So you just indicated the SPY, right? And I mean, I think that's important. There's a lot of traders here, obviously at TraderTV.live, that also is looking to trade futures or indexing or ETFs or whatever. What you might have mentioned it there, and I think you did. But what was it? The 9-day EMA, or what gave you sort of the confidence there today, Steve, to actually run this thing back to the upside? Because what a call. I mean, if you're going long anywhere in the first half hour today, man, oh man, we saw Marvell up $50. I just showed CrowdStrike up $50 or $60 as well. Some of the plays, I mean, NVIDIA basically went on a straight line to the upside here on a 5-minute chart and still doesn't look like it wants to stop. So maybe we can go over your chart. What gave you the idea there for SPY? Why did you choose that? I mean, you talked about staying in your lane. So let's go over maybe the SPY or anything else. What gave you the indication that maybe today was a little oversold?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in general, we've just been on this screaming uptrend rally. And where we've been usually transacting all the way up is this 5 EMA, this light line up here. This is usually represented a really nice place to buy the dip with the, barring this one dip into this 9. But so far, I've just been seeing the volatility being very low and the dips being very eager to be bought. So that made me think when we do transact this, as long as we get a nice reclaim, I think it's an easy trade to get some nice points off that side. So that helped me get the confidence to take along. And I really didn't take too much size because I'm mostly experimenting with my new indicator that I'm testing here. So it's not very pretty. It's actually an old version. But this is basically putting our GEX levels right on our chart here. And so the big thing I wanted to note with this was when this chart came on in the morning, this big node was still sitting up here for the weekly gamma exposure. and there was really not much growing underneath the open. And we surged off the open in the first 5 minutes or so. We were sitting already up, 20 points off the open on SPX. So this gave me an indication that, hey, we probably are going to want to go for that reclaim. There's probably going to be a lot of quite a magnet draw to the upside here. And hey, you know, sometimes when you're in an uptrend, you get a dip to buy and it's showing that look. You got to just take a stab. So that was the setup here today.
All right, and when you're taking stabs, are you like sort of legging into it? Are you putting on, you know, maybe let's just say your 5 units is your maximum. You know, when you first get that idea and you're looking at the chart for the very first time, does it just go right away into the 5 units, or do you take like maybe a couple units where you're thinking, and then as it starts to break higher, do you add into it? Are you an average up kind of guy? Do you get your whole position at once, or is it really just trade dependent?
I love that you're asking this. So for me, it really depends on the instrument and the time frame. Okay. If I'm day trading, I really don't want to be averaging in unless I have a good reason to. And if they give you multiple looks and the thesis hasn't changed, then that's fine. If you're not starting to oversize over your risk tolerance, it's easy to go overboard. So it's hard to recommend averaging down, even if you get, for example, this nice kind of pullback into the VWAP. You might get in here and have a very strong thesis that we're moving up on the day. For example, we catch this yellow node here, this yellow zone. We'd probably be looking to transition up, fill this gap, and probably go higher to this next node, as we can see. So for example, if you get filled on this VWAP, you're still right on the idea here. Your idea hasn't been invalidated when it comes back and tags it again. It's a higher low. It's still made the higher high. It's looking like it wants to go that high to that high side. And like I said before, those gamma exposure nodes have only been growing as it's coming down. So that was why I did add in once here, but this was very small size again, one small contract.
Right.
So whole position size still under 100, like right about $100. This is, again, testing the system out. So that's where it can be tricky to size in. But in general, I like to do one entry and then size out multiple times because I never know exactly where it's going to end. For example, if I'm trading 0 days, I'm just going to go right to this gap fill here, take one off. If it comes back and then reclaims the ribbon, I could add again, but probably I'm just going to hold my initial size, looking for a sweep of this next level up. That was where I took the second off. And then I did not catch the rest of this move. I was all out there. But for me, it's just about catching those base hits in a reliable way. So that's what I'm looking to keep modeling going forward. And that's what I've been testing this week going back.
All right, good. Yeah, because that's something important to me too, because I'm always caught sometimes like I miss the move because I'm thinking, oh, if it comes down, I'll average into it so that, you know, my stop out isn't as dramatic. And then all of a sudden the move goes and you look over and you have that one contract when really you wanted 5 or something. So I like the idea, maybe take your position right away, give yourself a stop, live by it, and die by it really at the end of the day. Neil's going to talk to you here about, you had Marvell up. What do you want to go with now?
So
that's an interesting space.
There's 2 things I will talk to you about. I do want to talk about SpaceX next week in a general sense and what it might mean for a whole host of names which are moving on sympathy. But before I did that, what I was going to ask you with regards to, say, like Marvell, and another example could be, like I could say MU for this. So if you're taking a reversion or buy the dip in the SPY, it starts going and it's in the money. Would you ever look at the sentiment of like the heavy buy the dip names, like the names that really rally the most when we get this the sentiment to the buy side, right? Like the Marvells, the AMDs, the MUs lately. Like when you see like these types of extension spikes, does that change how much of a move you look at in the overall market? Or do you say, no, I'm just going by my own system. None of this matters. Because I think we've had some new leadership that aren't like it's not NVIDIA always that's driving these spikes, which of course is that's just going to move the SPY implicitly. And do you ever look at overextension there to maybe give you a reason to hold longer, hold for more?
Just to be clear, overextension in the leaders there, like the Marvells, those looks. Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's important to consider. I'd say it's always important to consider when a leader is overextended because that could mean it's the top for the sector. If it's a strong sectoral up move, what I like to see, though, is different subsectors starting to take the lead and see some rotation under the hood within that kind of sector overall. So maybe memories leading one week. Maybe it's, I don't know, photonics another week. Maybe it's, just I want to see that kind of bouncing around between these subsectors. So right now, what I'd like to see is semi-caps. So like these companies that make the equipment to make semiconductors. So ASML, LRCX, these types of moves, AMAT. I'd like to see some more money coming into those, as well as the ones that just didn't really outperform last month. I'm looking at you, NVIDIA. I've been buying the dip at 210, so I think that's where the money's going to go, because I think the rotation's not over. But if we do get the leaders rolling over and we don't see that money flowing in to another sector or another part of the sector, that's when we can be a little bit more worried, I'd say.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the second part I wanted to go to, well, the second part, but it's a different question. Look, we're going to get SpaceX next week. Forget about the fact that a whole lot of money is going to go into it, whether it's passive buying or it's just the initial investment. And money's going to probably come from somewhere. There's going to be all kinds of this is going to happen here, and money's going to come out of Mexico. All these different theories. But there's simply the run that's happened in the space names in general. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can play this. I know for day traders, it's very simple. I'm going to trade SpaceX on day one. My question to you is, are you looking at the Rocket Labs, ASTSs, looking for some maybe technical setup? Because I see some of these things are coming in, pulling back, selling the news into some pretty big levels, which might give you a sympathy trade when everyone is looking at SpaceX. So have you looked at the sector? What are your thoughts? Are you playing SpaceX? Are you playing anything else in the space but outside of the actual IPO?
Oh, in the space. That's a nice pun there. I see what you did. You're appreciated. You're appreciated. So it's tough for me. I sold early like usual. I was in RDW. This was my big space play. We've been in all year. It's one of the big themes we've been watching. So I started a position somewhere in this cluster at 750. Added at 9 when it was breaking out. So average about 850. Took some off at 13 into this big trend line that we were watching. And then I said, hey, I'm just going to not worry about it. I figure at some point this is going to matter. Well, it mattered a little earlier than I thought and a little stronger and faster than I thought. So I didn't get a real chance to size into too many other space names. I have a little bit of ASTS that I'm still holding as well. But in general, I took a lot of this trade off at the $20 handle, the last little runner I had at 22. And so I'm all out of these, but I'm starting to look at them and they still look good to me. I still think that they have room for one more push into SpaceX, the IPO proper. After that, I would expect a liquidity event out of the sector. Maybe they get a day or two of pump. I have no idea. What I do know is that I made the easy money, and now it's a little scarier for me. I mean, I'm sure for good day traders like you who trade these IPOs regularly, there's easy money to be made on the long side and probably more on the downside, in my opinion. But for me, the easy move was the obvious sympathy plays running up into it.
I'm actually glad you mentioned the downside, because I think it's something that people forget. Like, Cerebras was a good IPO for like 5 minutes. Actually, you know what? No.
Less, I think.
It was a good IPO for 10 seconds, and then about another 5 seconds after the stock reopened, it halted for 5 minutes. So it was really good in the 5 minutes when you were in the money, but you weren't really doing anything. You were just kind of holding it, and then you had to get it all out. And then the next 2 days, it was a really good short. And then for the next few weeks, it was a really good short. So I'm more interested in the whole, we think there's a possible secondary rally, because you're getting a little something in here today. So how would you structure that? Because I think if you're buying dips in Rocket Lab or ASTS in here, for a swing trader, like, most swing traders might not be used to having, well, this needs to work in 3 days or 4 sessions or something along those lines. Maybe tighter risk than normal. You're going to play it through options, I would assume. So, what would your approach be to that when you want to be out of any bounce before you get caught holding holding the bag potentially on Friday? I don't want to say bag, but yeah.
Well, very well could be, and it's our duty to let people know they don't always just go up. In fact, statistically, they go down quite a lot after a little bit. So what I would say is, in general, I'm just never smarter than my moving averages. I'm always watching my 21-day, this yellow here, the 9-day, this blue. Call it a 10 and a 20, but I need to be special. They're my pick-me moving averages, slightly different than all the other ones, but I like them. And what I'm generally looking for is general strength into them. So we could see in this ramping up period, this is what the last ad that I did for like a little day trade, swing trade, addition to the position trade. And it was off this 5 moving average. That was telling me it was really ready to lift off. If it's coming back and it's still holding the 9, that's very constructive. These still have juice in my book, and I'm looking for this hourly momentum to keep on holding. So maybe a small pullback, as we see, doesn't have a ton of room to the top of this oscillator, and then a bigger push up. I think that these are still constructive, and I just got to manage the risk under each day's prior close for the most part. Any trade I'm entering, I have to think if I need to pull the trigger in the next day, 2 to 3, I got to make sure that I'm entering in a place where I'm not going to get stopped out under that day. You know, I'm not going to buy a top wick essentially and the start of a down move. So as long as you're doing that and sizing appropriately, hey, you're probably going to catch a decent move. Probably going to be without me because for me, I already rung that register, and it's just a little bit of the Wild West now, you know, into these IPO dates.
Well, you know what? From Hangry Wife, one of our viewers, they're going to quote you, never smarter than the moving averages. I like that. And when I use it and pretend that it's mine, just remember in my heart, I know that's your saying. So, but I'm going to say it's mine anyways, because that's how I roll. We have more. I have another question from one of our viewers here. I'm not going to give you a chance to try to tell me not to steal your line, because I'm just going to do it, Steve.
Okay.
I know
I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's actually, Steve, it's actually funny because I had said something similar the other day, something similar to that, and it was like, you know, our opinion on where we think the stocks are going to go doesn't really matter. I mean, we have systems built for those reasons. I mean, that's why we sit there and we build these systems so that we can follow them, right? I mean, if we're sitting there making our own or asking our cat or whatever what to do, that's when there's a problem. If we ask the charts what to do, then we can at least backtest and we have some reasons for it. I asked the audience, hey, you know, what are we looking at here today? What do you guys want to talk to Steve about? And we had a couple people talk about Tesla. So, I mean, I have Tesla. I mean, I'm just getting out of the queues here as we go. I have Tesla up. It's doing nothing this afternoon. So I don't know if they're looking for a trade here this afternoon. I don't really think there's going to be one here in the power hour as we approach or as we're in 3 o'clock right now. But, you know, Tesla to me, maybe a little bit of a sort of a, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a flag forming here. But either way, it looks like we're kind of coiling up against the 200 period moving average. With SpaceX coming, there's a lot of talk of the merger potentially going between the two companies. I don't know if that's a good thing or not for Tesla, to be honest with you. Are you looking to do anything with Tesla? Is it a position of yours? And any advice for those maybe nervous heading into the IPO of SpaceX? I don't know, people asking about it.
No, it's worth asking about. I won't pretend to be an expert on the trade. It's not like my number one go-to, but you know, we were looking at it last week. We drew these little lines on last Friday, and basically I'll walk you through what we're seeing and just add a few more for context. So basically we were talking about some kind of flag structure, some kind of pennant structure forming out here.
Oh, no, I missed it.
Maybe undercutting a little bit, shaking people out, but holding this low and essentially going for this bigger push, because on a higher time frame context here, I do think that this is a name to be bullish on. It's good structure overall, a nice ascending triangle starting to build out. I'd love to see one more push up, getting a new high, maybe tagging that 500 proper, and then selling off again, forming a higher low, and that's where I'll be really interested in watching Tesla. That's when I'll do my homework and become an Elon expert again, like I had to be back when it was like $100, $150 stock. But now, I'm just waiting and seeing. What I will say is that it's been acting pretty orderly. It came up, filled this gap, came down, testing the ribbon. I want to see a loss and a reclaim of this moving average, the 200 right here. So that's where this kind of little shake 'em out, yeehaw move is where I'd be looking for. And I'd be looking to buy a reclaim of that for a little shorter term trade up to 500, little maybe 3 weeks to 2 months kind of look. And then, you know, the longer trade, I think, is when you get in here for the position trade on the back test.
And then you even mentioned to us about that SpaceX last week too. You're like, maybe give IPOs even sometimes a year or something to settle down and wait for some of that range. So I think that a lot of us that are getting a little bit of FOMO, you know, people in the chat, oh, I'm not getting any allocations for SpaceX. Might not be the end of the world if you don't. There's going to be always another day. And even today, I don't know if you looked at this QNT today, but Neil and I were just talking about it and just looking at this thing. This, you know how long I was in this trade here? Here's me in and out of this trade. I don't know if you can see our screen. This was 2 seconds. Yeah. So I bought the open, it failed, and then I sold it immediately to the downside, which turned out to be a pretty decent look. And then now look at this. This has been the high of the day, really, has been that $68 price where we opened, and now you're down to 61 and change. So QNT continues to go down. You think SpaceX has a chance to do this or what?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, I do.
Okay.
With a few caveats, it is the biggest and the brightest IPO that we've seen in, I don't know, ever? Probably.
I would say ever. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now because there's been so much money that, like, there's so many people that have just really crushed this AI trade. And you know what it's like, YOLO, right? There's a lot of people right now saying, I'm going to roll what I've won or whatever I've made, win, into, you know, something else. And that might be happening. That's why we looked at RKLB and ASTS and all those names, because they're losing a little bit of steam here as I think people start to prepare for SpaceX. And you know what? You know, when everybody thinks right, generally the right way to go is left. And I think that that might be what's potentially happening here. I'm still going to try to roll it and see what winds up happening, but SpaceX on everybody's mind. I mean, you're going to join us next Thursday, right?
Yeah.
I would love to. I think I'm every other, but I can ask the boss, and I'd love to come in if you want me.
Yeah, I mean, I think people, ask, because I think that there's a lot of, love for you here, and especially, well, we can go back, we can get your thoughts maybe at that point again on SpaceX if you're hearing anything or what it's looking like, and we can talk about, potentially setting up some trades for post SpaceX, because I think that's what happens, right? A lot of the helium, I was saying in the balloon, kind of gets let out a little bit as people looking to get capital, raise capital, get into IPO trades, and you need someone to buy that. Like, if Google's going to raise $80 billion, man, we need some money.
Money's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah, it's got to come from somewhere.
And the other thing too is the post-IPO. Go ahead. Post-IPO, the short.
Points. I think you're dead on. And there's some trades I'd love to talk about that I think have legs in the space sector, but maybe the entry is when the helium gets let out of that balloon. So consider me there next week. I'd love to join.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, we appreciate you, Steve.
Steve, we want to thank you very much for coming through. Anything you want to tell everybody where you're going to be at in the next little while, or any streams you want to promote here?
Absolutely. I'm going to be hopping on over and starting my earnings stream very shortly. We're going to be covering a few of the big ones. We had an amazing turnout all week, really, but CrowdStrike really brought the numbers out yesterday. And we got almost 9,000 people in there. So thank you so much, everybody. We'd love to see some of y'all coming back in for Rubrik, Planet Labs in the space sector right there, and Lulu as well. So we got yoga.
Watch Samsara. Watch IoT.
IoT's fine.
I've been accumulating some shares in IoT. So okay, Steve, thank you so much. You're well loved around here, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate it, Steve.
Real quick, sorry, just to double check. Where you can find me is at Trade the Pool's YouTube channel. I totally blanked there. That's where you can find me. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
Thanks.
All right, let's go back over to Adara. She's got some updates.
Thank you to Steve, and yeah, definitely check that out. We also have earnings infographics to prepare you for those reports for specifically Lululemon, Planet Labs, and DocuSign over on XTTV Research. Let's take a look at BTU and some of these coal plays. President Trump is set to make a coal-related announcement, or as his schedule puts it, an announcement on clean, beautiful coal. So we're set to get a clean, beautiful coal announcement very soon. It's supposed to start at 3. It is President Trump, so there's a chance it starts after 3. It's already 3:11. But I'll keep you posted. And again, you can join us right here for live coverage of any market moving comments. I'm keeping my eyes posted on BTU, and I'll keep you all updated. Back to you.
Before I do
that
this,
LD break was so good.
I have to do a read here just quickly, but I just wanted to give you guys an update, man. We're doing it again. Well, here we go, man. And what was our red stock of the day? We trade the TQQs, and there it goes. We did not reload it, and I was talking about not reloading it there. Obviously, I'm there, we're talking with Steve, and wasn't fully focused on that, but I didn't think about reloading it, but we will take advantage of a move higher. And if you're like this volatility, well, guess what? You will also like Global X. Beta Pro by Global X offers Canada's first and longest running suite of levered and inverse levered ETFs built for sophisticated investors who understand the risks of leverage and the importance of precision. Its triple levered bull and bear ETFs are tied to the NASDAQ 100 index and are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving traders the tools to engage with both upward momentum and market pullbacks. These strategies are currency hedged, seeking to offset U.S. dollar exposure back to the Canadian dollar. For those navigating short-term market moves up or down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for your account, your strategies, and your objectives. Trade tactically. Please learn more at betapro.ca and scan that QR code right now and go find out what they're all about. I don't know if my wife is watching the show or not, but she's sending me links to Realtor, like our MLS, like housing places. I don't know if she knows that I lost on QNT today or not, but I'm not really in the mood to look for a new house right now. But yeah, there it goes to the downside. I know you want to talk about it, but there goes QNT down into $61.
I paid for the low case, but we're talking to Steve. Usually, the trade usually to look for short, to me, is the break of the low of the day. There's going to be other ones out there. On the off chance that there's a little something, I'm paying for the other one too. That'll be what's the name? INIO. I want to say INEO, but obviously that's not the name of the company. This is the energy name. So they were like a data center energy play for sure. You know what's weird? My wife does the same thing. No matter where and she'll do it in like, we'll just visit somewhere. Like when we're in Florida, like wherever we're staying, she'll just start looking at real estate. I'm like,
this is what she sends me right here. This is in High Park, so Windermere right now. Obviously, well, I haven't even looked at this yet. Well cooking. This is 4 + 3 square foot's like really not that big. For me, I want to see what kind of property. There's going to be no property at all. So this is what the front looks like here. And I literally just sent this to me right here. There's a couple of them. And this is what the backyard looks like. So it's not even, this is some sort of a parking pad there. And I'm guessing this is their next door neighbor. Like you don't, actually this is probably it here. This is the parking garage. That's probably the property line. So I would say this is very similar to my current house where we have, it's like 125 long, but only like 60 or not even 60, like maybe 40 wide, there feet-wise. But so if that's the backyard, man, and you want 2 schmil for it, I don't know, that's a lot, but this is what happens. Oh, and so that must be it. That's the backyard. So actually, it's not a horrible backyard there, but this is what we're talking about. Looking at some houses and housing prices. I don't know what they would look like wherever you guys are, but this is like West Toronto. Right there in Bloor West Village. So, not a bad little area there, but I'm just gonna tell her, I like the house. That's what I'm gonna tell her. But yeah, there goes to the downside. QNT. Sorry, I actually missed that, Andre. You live there? That's where I live too, man. I live in High Park too, Andre. Come visit, man. I'm at High Park tonight, man. 8 o'clock at High Park tonight.
You have a game tonight?
Yeah, we have a game tonight, 8 to 10. I have to do the lineup. I didn't get a chance to do that yet, but we're only missing 2 kids.
Although
I like to do the lineup.
I do as well. The last time I tried to use it when I was rushed once, and it broke the rules that I set for it. I was like, this person needs to pitch in the 4th, and the pitchers can't catch because that's one of the rules they had. And I need this person to make sure they play at least like 1 inning. And it didn't really follow my rules, ChatGPT. So next time I'm going to use Gemini if I ever use making the lineup. And I have to do it for the weekend. We have 3 games on Saturday, which reminds me, I have to figure out what the rules are for that because there's all kinds of weird pitching rules.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, we do that every time.
Who can over the
weekend.
And you can't pitch on Sunday if they pitch on Saturday.
Yeah, you have a certain amount of inning limits and everything like that. But right now, we're running through, man. There it goes. Nice play here on Qs. We were debating not debating. I mean, it took me a minute to take it, but we talked about this. We like the Intel short. We like the NVIDIA short. But yeah, right now, I think we might have done pretty good. I haven't looked at what NVIDIA's been doing. Yeah, NVIDIA's not even as good. I would have got blown out of this trade. So there goes NVIDIA. And then a quick check on RDW. Look, the one I took, I don't know, that was the wrong one. RDW, the one I took, of course, was the futures. And where was that break on Redwire? Yeah, so it didn't even break yet. So you wouldn't be in that trade, but yeah, we did take the futures, and there it goes, man. As we go back to the futures, back to sort of not our roots. I mean, I never started as a futures trader. I just started doing this basically for you guys over the last year or two. But there it comes in on the TQs. We like that stock. Shorted it early. I mean, like that index. Shorted it early, which was wrong. Did not believe that the market was going to do that. Well, I had no idea the market was going to do this. And as you mentioned to Steve there, I think that that's a good thing to live by because I always am second guessing myself, and you guys know that all the time. It's like, man, it bounced off the 200 period. Why didn't I take it, right? And you could do that to drive yourself crazy doing that, but part of it is true. You got to be able to follow your own rules, and there's another out there on the TQs, and there's a 200 period moving average. So you're right. I'm going to start to get lighter and lighter on this trade as we approach that point. We're still about 35-40% in on this trade.
Well, the next trade is going to be an IPO for me. I don't know which one. But it's a race to the bottom, flat bottom break on QNT. The only thing about QNT is try to remember the 60 level right now on this IPO is the issue price. If it loses 60, then it's red, which is pie in the face for the underwriters. The other thing that's happening is this other one is breaking down as well. That's INIO. So if you think that most IPOs go down, the exuberance that happens at the open is vastly different, and I'm fully expecting SpaceX to do something similar. Really, on Friday, I just hope that it looks like this for a few minutes. because I think everything after that, I'm sort of expecting it's going to have its best day in the initial push. You know what? This 32 break, I'm just going to try to slip in here for a play into the low if we're able to grab it. Ooh, spready, this stock. All right, I'll pay down a little bit here and try and just sit on the offer. There we go. We just got a bit of a fill there. So I want to play this one into the low, but I think QNT is going to be a little bit different. So in QNT's defense, like remember, 60 is the actual issue price. So I think if I see a lot of size there, there's two ways to play this. And I did see some size on the bid at 60. That could just be the underwriters defending it. And if they put a good defense on, it could be a decent scalp trade. So as much as I like the breakdown underneath, it might be a better play to just, if I can, get a price as close to 60 as possible and try and go from there. Let us know what else you guys are watching. Ollie oxen free. I've said it before, I like to use these as like test drives for like the bigger IPOs when you're trading them. And you can say that these ones were test drives for SpaceX. You can try to work some things out, look at some patterns, but the truth of the matter is SpaceX is like one of one. When we get that IPO, it's just built different. It's bigger, there's more interest, rules are being changed for this, it's going into the index almost right away. Like there is so much that is unique about it that you'll take as much out of your experience trading IPOs and looking at a bunch of them as you can, but I do expect it to be a bit of a unicorn in terms of liquidity, again, just in terms of how much action we're gonna see on it. I think if SpaceX did this run, and this I can't even show you one. A 3-minute chart doesn't even. I have to actually use a lower, like a 50-second or something, because what I was trying to get at is if I saw the same thing on SpaceX that we saw today, I'm punching back in. Like if I have to lose twice, I have to lose twice on SpaceX. Now, how far do I have to go back to even see that?
I won't be able to lose twice.
Well, no. Remember the caveat, like QNTS did not have a lot of slippage. So this was actually a pretty good, yeah, this is annoying. And so this is a 5-second chart. Like I was in and out right away for a very tight stop. I lost 1/7 of what I lost on the last IPO. If that happens again and I'm in and out of SpaceX and I basically didn't lose anything, then to me, that's giving me another roll. And the second I see green on the 5-second, I'm punching back in and putting a stop at the low of the day. I didn't do it here because, quite frankly, it's QNT. And did anybody know about this stock before we all started talking about it this week? No, none of us did. And if you did, congratulations. I know you didn't. I'm sure maybe somebody did, but that's all I'm getting at. I want to have a playbook. And for SpaceX, if I do have a small hit on the open, I am perfectly willing to punch back in because I think it's built different. The opportunity is bigger, so I want to give it more of a chance than just completely binary. But if it runs, stops, and goes down like 5%, whatever, like initially, that's a different story. Like if you just get rugged and it's like you take a hit, then it is what it is. If I'm willing to get shut down on it, and I didn't come close on QNT, which means I should have taken another try. Adara?
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know here, there is some news in the psychedelics space. Marijuana Moment reporting that the Connecticut governor has signed a bill to expand psychedelics pilot program in preparation for federal approval from the FDA. Here is HTAI pushing higher. DFTX didn't really move. In case you're thinking, hey, I thought President Trump was supposed to give a cool announcement. That is yet to start. It has not started yet. Back to you.
Break, and then I saw the bid. It's pretty big. Thank you very much, dude. I was just telling Sean.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the president is live. So, well, what do we usually we think bump? Hopefully that doesn't mean anything to the IPOs, but I don't see why it would.
I mean,
but a lot of times you think it could mean bump. USO is not moving much. Remember, all futures are closed, but it didn't do anything with that bounce that we saw at the close of spot futures. Like if anything, it's starting to come back in very slowly. We'll keep an eye on it for everybody out there. We'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think we've had the kind of volatility in energy that we've been used to since the war started. So
no, not even close.
It's just not the same as it was like a couple weeks ago.
We're gonna need more than something from Trump. It has to be from somebody else. I I don't know, like some sort of definitive something, because, you know, back and forth is driving me crazy. All right, so there's the move back up there. Okay, she has breaking news.
okay.
Whenever we're ready, you can throw it back to Adara. All right, we're ready.
Boeing is flying. Kelly Ortberg and co. on watch here. Air Current reporting that the company is considering hiking its 737 production to 70 jets per month, currently standing, I believe, around 40. So again, 737 production hike could reportedly be hiked all the way up to 70 jets per month. If I get more details or clarification, I'll let you know. But good luck for Boeing. Back to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you know
Boeing's
what?
been hit. I mean,
Boeing, I've thrown the chart many times. I think Boeing is one of the best potential breakout trades. It's just, it has to happen. Maybe it's not the daily. I keep going to the daily because that's actual muscle memory, but you have to look at this on a 3-month chart. On a 3-month chart, higher lows into a potential break here at 260 to 275. And maybe a small dose of this can get it a little bit higher to the upside. And Yannick, I wanted to get to this. I wanted to get to your question here. So you don't think SpaceX can pull off a circle and run for days? It could. I just don't think, like, that's not where my head's at. Like, my head is at long early, and I'm thinking the first day is its best day. Now, if it proves me otherwise, and it has a strong second day, then I'll look for longs in maybe day 2 and day 3. But my default thinking is just based on the old pattern. Like the Cerebrus was a long on day 1, it was a short on day 2, it was a short on day 3, and when the volume dries down, I stop trading it. And that's just the way I see it. Like usually, you have to have enough. I'm perfectly willing to change my mind on that, and I hope for everybody's sake that SpaceX doesn't rug everybody. It'd be really nice if it didn't. I'm not sure that everyone's going to get their wish. That's all.
I mean, I have no idea. I would agree. I think
I
there's a
hope
chance.
it does. I really hope
There's
it
a
does.
chance this thing.
I'm not buying into my long term.
Joe, I mean, like, yeah, like different strokes. Like Joe really wants to buy that name, so I think there's some opportunities there. All right, HYLN, High Leon or High Lion, right now today up 18%. The question is, you're already long, okay, so that's good, Birdman. There he flies in any weather, so that's a good one. A High Lion bouncing off. I don't know where you're long, but if you got long down into here at $6, that's looked like, you know, a great little protection zone there. So if you want to let this thing run, I think there's a good opportunity for that, obviously. And I just want to double check here what the short float is, HYL. And this is something that just can help, breathe the stock a little higher there. Shares of companies that brought in, okay, they're industrial there. That's good. Oh, rotation out into, so what do they even do right here? Designs and develops power generators. Okay, for stationary and mobile applications, provides R&D service. All right, so still not really clear on what it does, but that's okay. We'll just go over here and check out the short float, still 10% there. Relative volume, obviously it's up 3x right now here into what's been moving around today. So HYLN, there develops and sells advanced modular power generation. So I think that's good. It's right space. We've seen GEV, we've seen some of these names start to go up to the upside. So yeah, you're breaking out right now. You're looking for advice what to do. Again,
sales.
Kind of like do you, and I hate always saying that because you guys are asking for it, but I would be getting some out. I mean, looking back on where this has come from, $2-3, well done. You've made your money, and I think like all I can do is from my experience. I got out of some not Pan W, got out of some Marvell, some ARM, some Intel, some AMD over the last couple of weeks. So I would think that when you're experiencing moves like this, you may be early, but there's something called house money, and I have no idea where you're in. But let's just say you're in at $4 and you can get out at 8, and you get out of half. Everything else is free ride. So that's something that I like to do. So I would say no matter what you're in on, take a little bit of profit. Therefore, you can sleep a little bit at night and watch out for HYLN. And if you're going to stop out, put a stop at $6. Trail it down there to 6 if you wanted to. I think you'd be giving up a lot, though, if you did that. Like, you'd give up that whole 20%. So I would trail it, and, the ultimate low would be 6 there. Just watch out for, and I don't know, I could look back, but do some research, right? Ask ChatGPT or something. Has there been an offering on this name or one scheduled or anything? So HYLN, thank you so much for the super chat. And I think that $6 mark, I mean, you can see that, right? That's a pretty clear spot there. If it breaks below that, you may want to, pull that parachute and potentially get out of it. So we do have a call for Adara again.
Let's talk here about Airbnb. And this is an interesting catalyst here, guys. As far as I'm seeing, looks like the CEO of the company, Brian Chesky, is launching a new AI lab. Apparently, it's in its early funding stages now. What's odd is he intends to remain CEO of Airbnb while launching this new AI lab. So I guess pulling a bit of a Elon Musk here. If I get more details, I'll let you know. But once again, guys, ABNB dropping. Looks like there are reports that the CEO is launching a new AI lab, though he intends to stay at the company while this begins. Back to you.
That's right. I forgot there was a coal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You brought that to us earlier.
You know what? So HYLN, by the way,
coal. Yeah.
195 times sales.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about taking a little bit off the top there.
195 times, not PE.
Yeah, but it's not moving on.
That's what I'm saying. It's hype,
right.
and like hype. By the way, IND. Oh, okay. Well, I'll get to the super chat. Was asked about this INDP. So there was a clinical stage biotech firm, and it doesn't have any news that I've been able to find.
Perfect.
INDP. So sometimes when you see this, it might be, and I don't know if this is the case. Every now and then, it could be like some other biotech company has something similar that might have passed, and it could, maybe it's a sympathy thing, but I don't know. And when you're up 150% and I can't find a news story.
No news.
No news? Ooh. Happy for anybody that's in it, but on zero catalyst gives me some concern, because when it's biotech, they're not supposed to move 150% if they don't have anything material. Just a press release or something to explain all of this volume here today. So my guess would be some kind of a sympathy play, right? Like, we've seen it before, and I don't know if that's the case, and you obviously do your own research. But yeah, kind of a tricky one. We have a question about
Marvel's going. Yeah, go.
Microsoft. Oh yes.
As we're seeing you in the chat there, Marvel ripping. A lot of people talking about Marvel. A lot of people talking.
Is the president moving us?
No. The president's talking about beautiful, clean coal.
Well, it's
maybe your FCX. I don't know.
It's the cleanest thing ever. So like no, it's theoretical support on Microsoft. Like, I think when you look at a stock that consolidates, and you have like a prior high where there is resistance, the idea that resistance turns into support is not a law. But like, there's certain things that I'm sure of. I'm pretty sure that my daughter loves me unconditionally, at least I hope so. I'm pretty sure I have to pay taxes. I'm pretty sure, gravity exists. I'm pretty sure we went to the moon and the Earth is not flat. Those things as well.
The moon part I'm not sure about. But
yeah, sure.
I'm
Okay.
sure about everything else.
But like the whole support turning into resistance or resistance turning into support, that's a concept and an idea. The 50 period being support, that's a concept and an idea. It hasn't been tested yet on Microsoft. We've just pulled back. We haven't shown, there's no proof that there's gonna be buyers in at 420 or at the 410 level. So yeah, you're coming into a support level that also has this trend line I was drawing. I was drawing this yesterday. And you're also coming into the trend line here at the 420. So to me, that's like a place to look for a bounce, not a place to assume that it's gonna bounce. There's a very big difference when you're looking at that. Like when you find a level that's already, and maybe this chart is not gonna do it here. I think all roads, anytime you wanna just see an example of what support looks like on a higher time frame where it's proven, just have a look at like Intel, like down here. Look at that 200 period on the 3-month and look at it hold $19 for an entire year. This is a 3-month chart that shows you basically 4 candle wicks down there. That's a whole year of buy support effectively in the 19 to low 20s range on Intel. That's support. That's not theoretical. That's not a line on a chart. That's actual buying. So Microsoft maybe. And when it gets down there, we'll look for bounce. And if it shows bounce, then yeah, go for the longs and that kind of a thing. Los Pollos Hermanos, which I have to try to say it that way. Marvel, yes. Marvel, market, everything's spiking. It's just, the dip buyers in this bull market it's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's all you can say. It's great to be able to look at your long term, and when you're worried about it, or like days like today happen when you're like, uh-oh, this is confirming the things that were making me trim some arm or whatever it is that people were trimming. And then we get these V-shaped recovery days anyways, because there's so much buying coming in. Can we sustain that through this massive event that's happening next week? It's gonna be a pretty big question. And I'm not too sure about it. Like, I don't know how resilient the dip buyers can get when you have some of these moves. Like there's too many of these charts. Too many of these charts. Like they're great, but there's too many of them.
I mean, some of them don't stop. You got Caterpillar still going. I mean, there's lots of different names that keep going higher. I just want to let you guys know we have exited before the money comes flying out. We got out of the TQs rate where we got in. Like I said, I wasn't going to average into it. And not only did I not average in, I actually punched out. I actually got to cancel my stop now. As soon as we got to 16s there, I just punched out. And so, in at that price, out at that price. Just looking at how this market was going, plus we have President Trump talking, some $700 million commitment to coal. I may have to find a coal ETF. Let's go over to Dara.
Yeah, this BTU is at highs. Yeah, President Trump right now talking about how Americans weren't allowed to fix their own cars. But either way here, in between making these statements, he has announced a $700 million investment in coal. He also mentioned that he just had a meeting with GM. GM's not reacting, but he's talking about cars. He's talking about coal. He's talking about governors from various states. Again, guys, just be aware President Trump is speaking that investment in coal, $700 million. He also said he spoke to Ford officials as well, and F is at day's lows. So not moving on this. Back to you.
100 million. What, did you forget a zero over there? And he's got to get a little bit more money than that.
Shohei gets 700 million.
Yeah, per game. Yeah, no, I don't know. Coal's interesting. I was just looking at coal ETF. How about just this one? Coal right now. Oh, we don't have it. Okay, well, there goes that one. I was looking it up. There's a coal ETF. You mentioned BTU maybe as a possibility here. We'll see if there's anything going on there as Peabody Energy, potentially a play here for coal names. Yeah, there it goes. So nice little move to the upside there on BTU. I remember Dr. Copper, so CopX. Not that this has anything to do with coal or anything like that, but that's been on a decent run. Copper, I thought, as of late. Yeah, there it is right now. Copper doing well for itself, up to $94, $95 as some of those names continue to their worth over and over again. But yeah, there goes CopX. And yeah, we don't have the coal ETF.
I'll pull it up on eSignal. You know what?
Okay, you have it. I was just going to do this.
That's one of those, we didn't have.
It's not doing anything.
Yeah, it's not doing anything.
It's at a nice,
it's at some highs.
Actually, why not breaking out through 29?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I'll put a 15-minute
up on there.
Whoops, I'd already gone to 15. I'll go to the daily now. There's the daily. And if you're at real trading, by the way, just, if there's something that's not in the database, it's probably nobody requested it. So just put a request in.
Yeah, get it.
Like we didn't have like NASA in the database like right away. And I was like, oh, I want to be able to look at this. I put a request in. It was there the next day. It's that simple. If you really wanted it, real trading, you're gonna get it. The data's there. It's just a matter of plugging it in. Yeah, 39.10 on the daily chart. So there you go. Coal absolutely powering through. It looks fantastic. There's kind of a shame that the president talks about cars and GM doesn't go. Come on, man.
Yeah, he's just talking about it. I mean, he's got to give them.
Tabby tap tap tap. We're pretty close to the highs. Looks like a bull flag to me. It looks like a 200 period hold. Let's get a little breakout action happening. I don't see why not. Just do something. Tap it in. Tap. Before I forget.
Yeah, making meta.
Past 330. Usually look at the early looks. There's a lot of things over $1 million for 330. New bank, the Brazilian. SoFi, yeah, the Brazilian SoFi, according to Warren Buffett. 4.3 million early look buy. PCG, you got How, 1.3. HPE, we didn't even really talk too much about them because Dell and others really stole the show on earnings. But they had a pretty big earnings. Well, not big. They had a massive print on earnings. 1.1 million to the buy side there. CNQ's almost always there. Snapchat seems like it's a million sell every time it shows up. And that's about it. The NASDAQ names will not show up on the locator till it's all disseminated at 350. But yeah, Hewlett-Packard.
Pulling back?
Big quarter for them. Like everything else, bouncing. Still red on the session. They still pulled it back after that massive earnings run. Very different between them and, say, like Dell in terms of the ability to hold closer to the highs. Like, crazy parabolic spikes, but you saw Hewlett-Packard kind of pull back halfway from the highs when you got that parabolic run for a week. Dell kind of holding the top end of the range a little bit better. The top end of the range is like $80, but it's still holding it here on Dell. Like bounce, is your earnings gap? Where do the buyers come in? Right on the day one low. That's so key. Like where were buyers the day after earnings? Are they still there? Answer on Dell is yes. That is what dip buying looks like. That's what a bull market looks like. They're like, okay, we're still here. You're not going lower unless you break us, and that's exactly what happened after earnings. So you think about that on all of these earnings names. that have been bullish. You know, with names like Lulu, you're just kind of hoping it holds a low for the first time.
Yeah, we had someone ask us there about how, I think it was MFD in generous, how low could Lulu go? Check lower, I think.
On the 3 month,
right there.
$85 is a pretty big level on
Yeah,
the 3
so
month.
it's, I mean, that's only 125 right now, so we'll have to wait to see on that one. And yeah, join us tomorrow. We'll be going over Lululemon earnings, that's for sure. I don't know what happened to Meta today. You know, other names are up $50. Meta is now down $20. Not from its open. I mean, it's still green, but, well, barely holding on. So it had a huge move up and then just said, nah, and all the way back down in as it's still the data center names, man. These guys have really nothing to do right now. I mean, they're not building out or anything. You know, they do have the products, but will they actually be able to monetize it? That's the next question. As they rolled out a couple different plans, I don't know how well those were received or not. But yeah, Meta continues to, you know, basically bleed out to the downside. And it's 340, so I'm not gonna take a trade, but this is coming into a level 620. We'll see tomorrow if that winds up holding there. But yeah, we can have a quick little look at Lululemon. And look, I mean, I've talked about it all the time. I like the clothes. I have a whole bunch of them, but it's just a matter of like, the stock is what it is, and you're going through retail woes. I mean, some of their shipping there from, you know, Indonesia or China or whatever. We worry about tariffs. You know, we worry about a little bit of a stronger U.S. dollar, not really great for them, you know, producing elsewhere. Coming back in now, 324, 325. I mean, if they could put up some sales numbers, as Sharif had mentioned, you know, every time he's in the stores, whatever, they're super packed and lineups out the door. But Lululemon just continues to, they have that new, what is it? It's not Chip Wilson, is it? Part of the management team there, just took it over again. So we'll wait to see what Lululemon has in store here. New management hopefully can bring this name back up to its glory days. But this was not even that long ago. Last year at this time, this is June. This is the quarter that we're looking for right now. That's what happened. We went from 340, guys, $340, right? All the way where we are right now, 124. Like, they've really been getting hit pretty hard here. Just a year. This whole year down 62% from this time last year's quarter. So Lululemon has a lot of room, obviously, to go back to the upside. But like I said, wait for that kitchen sink. I think that's probably coming today. We'll throw it all out. Watch out for their numbers. They're probably going to be horrible. And then that way, next quarter, they'll hit their guidance and people will think they're back. So we'll wait to see what happens with Lululemon. Interesting to see Micron still down today. Would have thought that maybe they could have got back to glory. Marvell has already done that move. Micron's not doing it. They started the day up here at 920, at 1030, basically, the price, and made a huge move down to 970. Did recover all the way back to 1030, 1035, but now we're starting to head a little bit lower. Still down 5%. There's the move recently. Got as high as 11 and change, or maybe not even, 1080, 1090. So it's not like you're down a lot from here, but you are down a little bit on Micron. We'll wait to see where that goes. And it's, Meta just keeps flashing to me, man. It's like, man, we're getting hit, and then there's the bounce right now on Meta. And, you know, like Steve said, no matter what you think, if I'm going to go long on the 200 period moving average, there it is there at 621.50. So let's see if that winds up playing on Meta. 8 minutes until the imbalances, and QNT was the name today. And look at that. That's breaking the low of the day right now, QNT.
This is, so $60 was the IPO issue price. So this is, have any of the other ones gone red on day
Red?
one?
Well, this one,
No,
because
I'm talking like red, like not red from the open, because that's happened a million times. I'm talking about red under the issue price.
I would think so, because there's been some, like probably like a StubHub. There's been some that have really not opened up too far away from their issue price.
I don't remember Hub very well.
This opened up Stub.
No, Stub, but I don't remember. For some reason, that one doesn't stand out, even though I feel like it.
Thing is, I mean, I have to remember.
That trade.
I'd have to remember what the price was that they were expecting on StubHub, because this is what it looked like day one. Oops. Oh, there it is. Okay, come on, slow down. All right, see? So this is what I'm saying. Like, if the issue price, I think it was 20, maybe was it 25? I'm not sure, but
might have been.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, might have been even 18 for some reason. You want to try to look to see maybe where it was stopping before it eventually went down. But look at StubHub, man. Wow, that's under double digits now. $10 on StubHub, and probably going lower. Its low was 6. Wow, that's like a nice, 50%, 75% retracement from $6 up to 11. Wow. All right, StubHub, you gave some kind of a trade there, but who knows how long that one's going to last, StubHub right now. I don't trust that StubHub. Like, there's there's too many alternatives, SeatGeek, all that kind of stuff. Then you have legislation coming in. And look, man, damn. I mean, this is another one of those moves. We only had, I don't know what it was, maybe 15%, maybe 20% left, but boom. All we had to do was not think. Remember I told you about what Steve was saying? Like, if our out was going to be up there, we could have, well, we might have actually got stopped out, but I don't think so. We could have just left it, and then we would have had this trade on. But we did make some money back there on the Qs. Like, we have no fills higher than our in. So that's good, but, you know, following the rules. We stop out on that one out of TQs. So, you know, oil, people talking about Amazon over there. Oil's a killer for them. I just heard someone in the chat, so shout out to you, New Loon.
It held up decently too.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I think you're right. You know, they're in that shipping business now, you know, for Amazon. There's actually even selling their shipping business out to other companies. Like, if you want us to ship your products, we'll do that. So they have like almost like a freight department. We did have FedEx Freight came to market, I think, last week around this time. And, you know, they're trading, or maybe it was Monday. They're trading now out. But yeah, Amazon, again, like the business, like everything about it, but just in a down draw, right? And we had Google in the same kind of ways, and that was bought straight back up. So, you know, they switched over from Alphabet to maybe Amazon next. Like, there's the dip buy right into the 50-period moving average, right back up into the 70s. Wouldn't surprise me if next week we have a 4 handle on this name as well. That's Google up another 4%. If they go 4 more percent, you know, tomorrow, then you're back up to 385, 390, and then 400's not too hard away from that, right? But Robinhood, people talking about that. What a good day to be PDT.
Day one, baby.
Yeah, his day one is in there. And yeah, so shout out to, I forget his handle there, but you've really been talking about that all morning to the point where we, you know, was basically spamming. But it was like, yeah, get long on Robinhood. And all you had to do was sort of wait.
Spam, but
yeah, but the thing is like, you know, it was tough in the morning. So if you did get long, you would have had to been able to hold it a little bit against you. But upside right now, everything's trying to go higher now. The ES is up 0.45. I'm gonna throw it to Adair in 1 second. And then the diamonds, which would represent the Dow, is probably up as well. Wow, the Dow is up 1.7. Oh yeah, because UNH up. UNH having a great day. Oscar also having a day. The health space doing quite well today. What's up, A?
Replimune to the downside. I have to contextualize this a little bit. So we know this company had some FDA issues going back. We also know at that time the FDA commissioner was Dr. Marty Makary. Makary gets ousted and he gets replaced with an interim commissioner, Kyle Diamantis. Now, as of May 29th, 2026, so literally less than a week ago, Replimune, REPL, announces that they've met with the FDA and had a, quote, productive discussion, and they're trying to resubmit this treatment for FDA consideration. Well, now Endpoint's reporting that acting FDA chief Kyle Diamantis is not interested in a permanent role. That's not a good look for REPL if they're getting along with the current FDA and they want to resubmit. So long story short, REPL's FDA hopes might be dashed if it does turn out that Kyle Diamantis is not considering a permanent position as FDA commissioner. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. 3 minutes till the imbalances come in. Still the same name. There's nothing too crazy. Oh, wait a minute. Was Redwire there before? Maybe not. So NU's still there. I don't think we saw the 1.4 million on Redwire to the buy side. That could be interesting because it is heading slightly down. Like it's rolling over a bit. So what could happen, you never really know. You could pop into VWAP, ideally in the next 2 minutes. That 1.4 million balance that we see for the early look comes out at like 2 million, and that could be a nice little long trade. I'll probably throw that one on one of the windows. There's nothing too crazy to look at. Expect, yeah, usually like the NVDAs will pop in for a few million. It needs to be pretty big on a day like today. And I think we've had a lot of chatters, people are mentioning that it's been a good first day for the PDT rule being gone. I think you're gonna wanna track it. Don't assume too much because not everybody was compliant day one. So we don't really know the full effects. I think as we get a couple of weeks in, I think a few brokerages were waiting until the 8th or even a little bit longer. So I think the next couple of weeks it'll play out. But I think anecdotally, a lot of people have said that maybe it was a little bit better for the small caps. Track that volume and track maybe how the success rate is on those. Do they hold better? trends in the upside. They bet, because a lot of times it'll be the best prices you can get are all pre-market and then people are done. Is there more continuation in some of those names because the PDT rule's gone? We have a couple of weeks to be able to figure that out. As we said, not everybody was compliant on day one here. And we had Robinhood for sure because everyone was saying them. And outside of that, we only got a couple. Schwab is the 8th. We have Jack in the chat letting us know that as well. Not sure why everyone couldn't have just been compliant day one. They knew about it for a while. It's kind of weird, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, I wonder if they rolled it out to like different clients first, or
maybe
to test to make sure everything goes okay. Yeah, man. I mean, the futures are now right back into where we've taken some out before. I feel kind of silly, the fact that we did stop ourselves up, but we talked about it, and I don't feel that bad about it. We just talked about all that, and then we kind of passed over another name that should be able to benefit here, Webull. I mean, there's been lots of different fintech names that we've been talking about. Webull on the daily had a huge run again, like from almost 750. Oops. Yeah, here's another IPO, Webull. But yeah, this one name all the way back in. And, we did see something, and I'll zoom back out just for fun on this, but we had seen this happen before, right? I mean, Robinhood also kind of mooned and came back in and then started to go eventually. So I don't, the clientele, people that are already on Robinhood, I think it's kind of like a first stepper advantage here. Well, are you going to actually transfer over from Robinhood into Webull? The answer is probably no. If you're already on Robinhood, you're probably pretty happy. So here come those imbalances in just a matter of time. So 3, 2, and 1. And then here we go. Let's sort it by size. And we'll see if there's anything half decent there. There it is, new. There's RDW is that buy. So it's a good thing we didn't really take that breakdown there. Breakout higher didn't happen. Apple, watch these futures now, see if they want to go. Apple with a quick little spike higher there. But other than that, anything else catching your idea or your eye? NVIDIA downside?
No. I don't see it. NVIDIA's only $1 million. Like, that's not very big. Rigetti's 900,000, I suppose. Like, that could be something. 373 million for the overall market to buy. That's kind of a nothing burger. Right? If it's a bill, that's a big deal. Anything smaller than that is nothing. They're defending that IPO at the even price as well. So QNT, they're doing their job, the underwriters, because who else is going to be on the bid at exactly $60, which would be the issue. Let's see if it breaks down. If this is under $60, tomorrow it's a short. I actually hope it doesn't break $60 today, because then you could look for that breakdown tomorrow, and then it would be actually red. I dislike the whole. If it does this move and ends up closing at 64, then you hear everyone talk about the quote unquote successful IPO that was up 7%. Because people that got the issue went 60 to 64, despite the fact that it just sold off all day. In reality, like anybody that got in early, it traded down. So to me, it'll close in the green if nothing happens in the next 9 minutes. But does that really mean it was any good? Like, I hate the framing of that. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, if SpaceX opens up at $300, presuming here, I'm just making up a number, which is a realistic one, but then closes at $250, we'll hear about how it was almost a double up.
Yeah,
and you'll hear about it from everybody, but meanwhile, anyone that got involved as a trader probably got rugged. So
God knows that's not the case.
It's just such a weird, like, you can see the chart, and people that say that on other programs and channels, they know better. They see the chart. They know exactly what's happening, but they'll still call it successful, which to me is always hilarious. I'm like, no, a chart that is rugged from the open is not successful. I don't care if people that got the issue, congratulations if you got it. We heard stories this morning. We had one viewer say they went for an allocation of 12 hundo and got 25 for, I think it was QNT. It might have been the other one, but it was one of the two today. And that's just how it is. We know who gets the bulk of the shares. It ain't us.
No, and whenever we're getting in on that opening price.
Open price. So. I'm just talking about the average retail investor that tries to get in on these IPOs at the issue. That you put a request in, you're probably at best you're getting a very small fraction. Because if you're getting an amount that matters, oftentimes it's because you're a whale.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just how the game is played, and there's not much you can do about it. Things are slowly changing, though, and they are getting better in a general sense. It's just, it is what it is.
So, by the way, there goes the market to the downside. We had it, so I'm glad I was able to lead the way on that, but not leading you to water, unfortunately, because, you know, that we did get, well, it's a good trade. We made money, but, you know, would have liked to held that last 10 or 15% back there to the downside. And yeah, just what you guys are talking about, some people in the chat, you know, shout out to, it was a good talk there because I mentioned, well, there it was, what's up to Chris M, saying that the Webull interface is just not as, and Robinhood is different, so you're not likely not going to get, you know, the switch from one to the other right there. Sean, you have a question. May I ask in advance? Sure, Tony, what question you got for me over there? Am I buying that house for $2 million? No, probably not. That would be one thing there, but you can ask it, Tony. Go ahead and do whatever you want. Marvell, and I think we talked about what the rules, you know, the PDT, what that might mean. You know, maybe it means just hot stocks continue to stay hot because there are buyers in there buying up some options whenever we get some down days. I mean, look at PanW, right? PanW was, again, such a good name to have in your portfolio, and look what just happened this afternoon. It really just got bought all the way back up. So yeah, watching out for names like that and seeing the difference between potentially, you know, strong plays, you know, getting bought back up, making decisions like that. So there goes PanW back to green. And we did see something very, very similar as well, of course, with CrowdStrike, right? Was back up almost straight to the straight line, back up 50 to the upside there on $50, $675 up to $725 right there for CrowdStrike. So yeah, man, all good on that one. Shout out to Chris, everybody that's still here. Blicky Spears. Oh, Blicky Spears, you know, we're dropping jewels today. And I like that right there. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And, you know, we're here every day, so are you, Blicky. So for everybody that's been here, here's my guy over here, Birdman. Where is it right here? This is the guy that was telling us all, where is it? Here it is, Baidong.
Baidong.
There it is right there, was telling us all about Hood today. And yeah, you are right.
All pre-market.
By the way, the
All
market,
pre-market.
yeah, the market
All
is,
pre-market. They're all over it.
damn it, taking, that would have been good trade, anybody, man. Planet Labs tonight, Lululemon tonight, Rubric tonight, IoT tonight. I like IoT, so tomorrow when this thing gets crushed, no, hopefully not.
Someone's trying to buy Lulu at the end here.
Okay.
For the first time all day, someone's trying to buy Lululemon going into the earnings. It's been sliding the whole way. How it's moving going into, we say this every single time, not everyone's watching every day, but it does bear mentioning. There's zero correlation between the performance of a stock, momentum from the imbalances to the close or in the afternoon to how it's gonna go in the earnings. Like that whole, oh, somebody knows something, it tends to not be true. I even find it when you look at like the fat fingers, it'll happen before the earnings release. So maybe they come out at 405 and you see someone start to do something at 403, 404. I actually find anecdotally that's usually the wrong direction. And like wherever there's like fat finger buys, like the initial move is usually the other way because realistically, that's self-fulfilling prophecy. It's just gonna be worse to the downside if someone fat fingered long on earnings, the alternative. But this is gonna be a big one. Can they finally handle the bid? The difference between Lululemon and all the other earnings names we keep talking about is if they're down 10 or 15%, they're pulling back in an uptrend, right? Like if you're down on crowd pulling back here, that's like an uptrend where people probably want to try and buy the dip. Lulu doesn't have that luxury. So it needs to be something a little bit different. That's why the kitchen sink reference. Like you're talking about like a fundamental, hey, they're showing us that it can't get any worse kind of deal. Intel had one of those. You know, like it wasn't one of those quarters that really blew anything out of the water. It was just like, oh crap, things have stopped getting bad. And then that was enough. And sometimes that's all it takes. And maybe that's what Lululemon is going to need. 2 minutes or 3 minutes to go.
3 minutes left.
Everybody, they're still hilariously defending the IPO price on that Quantinium. It broke for a split second. It broke $60, and then a refresher just popped right back on the bid. So it looks like they're going to do a great job of ensuring this closes in the green, which of course we all know there were no buyers, at least not many of them today on this one.
All right, yeah, and I guess someone there in the chat just said Lululemon is a Michael Burry play right now. Is that, what do you know about that?
Today.
Added? He already owned it?
He already owned it. He added it ahead of earnings. That's what he said anyway.
Dara, you have a great memory. Where did he start getting into this thing? I
honestly have never heard him mention it before.
I've never heard him say that
like,
at all.
my memory is good, but if I don't know a thing, then I can't remember the thing.
Fair.
So
Yeah,
I didn't
Neil.
know until, I know today, it was sometime around the midday it was posted. I want to say around 12.
Adara's memory is so good that I just assume she knows everything, which is Tori. You shouldn't, but did anybody know that this dude owned Lululemon? I don't recall hearing. Usually you'll hear it. He shorts this, he likes that. The guy makes bank off his Substack, and so that everything in there usually gets leaked, what he likes and what he doesn't like, because some people pay for it, and eventually it comes out. But buying Lululemon, interesting. Well,
yeah, I mean, it's so beat up. I mean, there's definitely an opportunity. Like I said, I think
there's some upside on it for sure.
Yeah, for it to come back. I don't think there's anything wrong.
Don't sleep on Sympathy Nike maybe as well.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit different business, of course. Okay, we're gonna wait to see what happens right here. There goes QNT. Looks like it's battling with $60.
Hilarious.
This could be tomorrow's trade today, right? I mean, I think a short. This is gonna break in the after hours. Someone's just buying it right now. This is Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs. Whoever is responsible for the pricing of this is basically sitting here with probably millions of shares. And look, you can see it's not breaking. Like, look at, this is a dark pool, right? If you guys never seen this before, like, this is only showing 600 shares. There's thousands of shares being printed right now at O's. And it's just resisting. So this is a great trade. You go long at 60, and then just as soon as it breaks, you're probably going to lose 50 cents, but they're already showing you there's a wall right now at 60. It's bounced before. The last time it did this, and there's only 20 seconds to go, the last time it came down here, same kind of thing bought up. There it is, 75 cents back upside. Look at this. Who's the underwriter of this? I mean, I want to employ them. They're sitting here right now just buying everything right now. So there it goes. Nice little play there for QNT.
Mission accomplished for them.
Yeah, they held it, so there it goes.
Accomplished. It closes in the green.
But, like I said, if those guys are off of that stock, then it's going to go down. Here it goes, there it goes. So there it is. Yeah. So I just wanted to show you, bye-bye. There's 50 cents. So I'm going to take this out of my ear. As soon as that broke in the after hours, they're probably not responsible to support it anymore. So there it comes right back down to the downside. Like I said, tomorrow's trade today, that short at 60 because it wasn't going to last. So we'll see what happens tomorrow for QNT. We want to thank Steve for coming through today, Steve Talman, of course, from Trade the Pool. I want to thank Rahim Alani coming from OCI. We had Feed on this in the middle of the day as well to talk about sort of their expansion with Adara. Please rewind to about 12-ish. And you'll be able to see that. So that was a good one as well. And then tomorrow, man, of Open Door, of EWJ Capital fame, of Hut 8 fame, we will have confirmed, Sharif confirmed it, I hope it's confirmed. We'll have Eric Jackson tomorrow on at around 2:30. So
Hut 8's been a beast.
Yeah, we'll hear what he has to say about that and hopefully have a good time talking to him about whatever we decide to. And it's 58.80 now on QNT as promised. That was a downside play.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're talking about all day long, and hopefully SpaceX doesn't do what QNT did today. For a lot of people.
But you know what, like you said, if it's the worst case scenario and it breaks and comes right back, not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. It could have been worse on that opening print. I think we're all fortunate for that. But you know what? The fun part about it is we get to do it another time tomorrow morning, rest up, enjoy the weather, first of all. I know I have to get outside because we had to sit around for the IPO. Did not get outside for my walk, so I'm going to enjoy some of the weather this evening. For sure, hope you guys do too. But tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, we do it all again. We're Trader TV Live. See you in the AM.